experts, heating specialist first warning forecast.
Sunday and sunshine today with temperatures warming up to 42 degrees. For tonight, we'll see cloud cover start to increase, a low of 30. And then rainy and breezy on Saturday with temperatures warming up to 50 degrees by midnight. And could even have a couple rumbles of thunder. But we turn very windy for Sunday. Could see some isolated damage. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm
Alright, we're live.
Right now, sunshine,
Hello.
41, 95.3 MNC Studios. I'm John 70 News Talk, 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. On air at 95.3 FM, online at 95.3
Wasn't
MNC.com.
that like a whole thing
Alexa, when you
in
tell
the
her to
Fockers?
enable the 95.3 MNC skill. News Talk 95.3.
It's been so long since I have seen that. I don't know. Were we saying something from that movie?
Men Breastfeed.
Oh, yeah.
This is what Flo from Progressive sounds like in one of our many hilarious commercials.
Hi, did you know that you can get a quote on your motorcycle insurance in under 3 minutes at Progressive.com? And did you know that saying hi makes even bad news sound good? Hi, you have high cholesterol. Hi, you're fine.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle.
Hi, there's no more
Yeah, our commercials sound better on the bike. And with basic policy starting at $75 a year, Progressive helps keep you on yours. Quote today at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
36 days. That's how long it takes the average company to find their next hire. Glassdoor can help you quickly find the right job candidate in half the resumes. From 62 million job seekers, Glassdoor only matches you with qualified candidates who have the skills and experience your small business needs to grow.
All right.
Glassdoor hires are committed.
What's up, everybody?
50% more likely to stay with your business longer. Go to glassdoor.com/hire. Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business.
Nice. Smell nice. And because I look nice and smell nice, people treat me differently. And because people treat me differently, I get things. You know, look at your car. Does it smell nice? Do people treat you differently? Do you get things? Now think about Z-Bar.
Or Bernie Sanders.
Cars go to look and smell nice.
A bunch of people in Florida are really upset. You know, the old videos of him have surfaced. And he is a real big fan of Castro.
If your car smell nice, does it look nice?
And in Florida, nobody's a fan of Castro.
Your car.
Right.
So he's getting hammered today.
That's a sensible thing out of Florida. Because nobody's
They got really good food.
Nice smelling car. Detail and Z-Bar.
Cuban food is amazing.
You can tell the world how driving a great smelling clean
But
car has
that is a funny state, that's for sure.
money, and how other things in your life are now clean and smell good. You owe it all to Z-Bar of South Bend. Call 574-232-2073. Z-Bar. That's smart.
All right, here we go.
Radio that talks with you, not at you. Casey Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel.
Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's News Channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Looking at the TV, it looks like they're going to have a press conference here on the charges against R. Kelly, which are like, I don't know, 20 years too late. But I'm not going to carry that. I'm just letting you know. It's out there. All right, I do want to thank our sponsor, Second Amendment Arms and Range. So the Guns and Everything Outdoor Spring Show is going to be happening on March 2nd and March 3rd, 9 a.m. both days. And that's at the Crown Event Center in New Carlisle. Admission's $5. Kids under 12 are free, and they have door prizes. So if you like hunting, trapping, archery, camping, fishing, all of that stuff that has to do with the outdoors, that is all going to be there. They're also accepting vendor booths. So if you would like to sell at the show, you can go ahead and contact Paul at secondamendmentarms.net to get more information and get set up that way. Not get upset, get set up that way. I just woke up from a nap. Sorry. I didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and Fridays are my long day. And so I went home and actually took a little nap today, and I'm a little discombobulated. All right. Well, let's start off with the first issue that we have here. 2 South Bend police officers have resigned. This is an article out of the Tribune. 2 South Bend police officers, one charged with theft and one with a long history of disciplinary action, have resigned from the department. Again, I don't have any inside information on this. I'm just taking it from the article. Just want everybody to know that, okay? Board of Public Safety accepted the resignations of Brandon Jones and Christopher Hauser At its Wednesday meeting, the specific reasons for their resignations were not given in the public meeting. The Tribune filed a request for the resignation letters, but had not received a response on Wednesday. Jones was charged in October with misdemeanor theft and a level 6 felony delivery of false sales documents after he allegedly switched price tags on items at Walmart. We covered that when that happened. On September 25th, Jones was reportedly seen on surveillance video at a self-scan register scanning University of Notre Dame apparel and placing the item into a shopping bag, according to a probable cause affidavit. An employee reportedly saw when Jones scanned the apparel, it rang up as pie pumpkin for $2.98, not as Notre Dame apparel. Notre Dame apparel, for you Michigan fans, typically costs more than $2.98. Okay, so it was a red flag when the employee saw that. So the assertion there is that he switched the tag. The employee continued watching Jones ring up several other items, including mixed fruit, an air freshener, and a container of raspberries, which all scanned as either pie pumpkins or mini pumpkins, according to court documents. Now, why they all came up that way, I don't know. I suppose it is possible that the machine was busted. Just being devil's advocate here. Okay, I don't know. What else do we have here? Video footage reportedly shows Jones in the produce department picking up pumpkins, walking to a shopping cart, doing something with the pumpkin, and then returning the items to the display. I'm sure there's a justifiable reason for that. Everybody does that, right? We all do that. We all pick up pumpkins, take it to our cart, mess with it. We don't do that? No? Joe says we don't do that. Okay. So anyway, the price tag swapping is about $60 loss for Walmart, is what they're saying. The police department placed Jones on unpaid leave pending the outcome of the criminal case. Chief Ruskowski had not made any disciplinary recommendations for Jones to the Board of Public Safety. Jones's trial is scheduled for March 14th. That's not unusual. Typically wait for the case to play out. In December, Ruskowski recommended Hauser be fired for violating 7 department policies. Hauser at first requested a disciplinary hearing before the board, but later withdrew that request. The Tribune requested a copy of the chief's letter detailing what policies Hauser reportedly violated, but the city denied the request because Hauser resigned and no disciplinary action was actually taken. So it becomes a personnel matter now. While the chief seeking Hauser's termination was the most severe disciplinary action that had been brought up against him during his time in the department, it was not the first. A little more than a year ago, Hauser was demoted and suspended for 90 days. In 2010, he received a 6-day suspension without pay for reportedly using a racial slur while taking a man into custody. Former Chief Boykins wrote that Hauser had a history of saying inappropriate things, leading him to recommend a longer suspension than normal for that offense. Hauser also received 3 different 1-day suspensions for comments made to the public. So he also received a 1-day unpaid suspension after he admitted telling a South Bend resident that another officer, quote, smokes weed and sells dope, unquote. In August, have we found that officer, though? Maybe he's telling the truth. I mean, it would be nice if we found that officer. In August of 2008, Hauser was suspended by the chief for 1 day and ordered to take anger management classes after he admitted to telling a resident that it is not worth my bleeping life or time to go give them a citation. I don't know what the citation was for, but he might have a point there. It's not our fault that you moved into a bad neighborhood. Okay, ouch. After the resident called police about gunshots being fired in that neighborhood. Now, of course, that one especially stings. Now, that's back in 2008, okay? But that one especially stings because what's the number one complaint the South Bend Police Department has about the public right now? Nobody tells them when a crime is committed. They have no communication with the public in certain districts in the city. And that's one of the reasons that they have the shot spotter, which I think is a colossal waste of money. The chief disagrees with me on that. But they have that, and the chief's reasoning frequently to me has been, nobody will tell us if anybody shoots anybody. So we have to have something that at least lets us know that a shooting happened so we can at least get people in the area to look at it. But even then, nobody will talk to us. And we've had people call the show over the past couple of weeks say, you know, I was in this particular neighborhood and there was a shooting that happened. There was multiple witnesses, dozens of people. Not one person would talk. And that was because it was a known gang member that was involved and that sort of thing. So, this is like the number one problem that the South Bend Police Department is having in certain areas of the city, and they really need people to participate. So when you have an officer, again, this is in 2008, but when you have an officer out there telling people, well, you shouldn't move to a dangerous neighborhood, I don't want to get hurt dealing with your complaints, that doesn't bode very well for the department. But again, that's way back in 2008. 2 months earlier, Hauser was suspended after he was found to have turned off his microphone on his dashboard camera so he couldn't be recorded. He reportedly told his superior officer he didn't like people listening to his conversations during traffic stops, which, of course, one of the reasons that you have that camera there is to ensure not only that you capture evidence, but also that officers aren't being bribed. Several officers have been caught with the dash cam over the years, accepting various favors, usually from lady folk, to get them out of a ticket. So there's a history there. The chief, current chief, wanted to terminate him. He resigned, and so we don't have all of the other information as a result of that. So that's the latest in the city of South Bend. So it's been So when you go back a few months, we had the issues with the Elkhart PD, and now we've got a Niles officer who is being charged. We've got 2 South Bend officers who are stepping down. There was some issue with one of the other departments around here as well with another officer. So it's not looking real good for local law enforcement over the past month or so. But we got a lot to talk about today. Don't forget about open lines in the 5 o'clock hour where you can call about anything that you want. A lot of people have been reaching out to me this week and wanting to discuss something, but it wasn't topical at the time. So the 5 o'clock hour is the best way for you to do that. So again, at 5 o'clock, we open the phone lines up to everybody to talk about anything that they want. So make sure you are prepared for all of that. We can see it's 3:16 right now. MNC has got a lot more coming up, so don't go anywhere. Plus, you can watch the live stream, youtube.com/Casey the Host. I know, I totally screwed that up. youtube.com/Casey the Host or facebook.com/Casey the Host to watch the live stream. More coming up on 95.3 MNC.
Casey.
I was like way off. Not even close.
MNC has a lot coming up.
Something. It was like I had just done the time, and then I was going to do MNC News Time, and then I was like, wait, I just did the time, plus it's not the right time anyway, so whatever.
Comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
Sunshine again today with temperatures warming up to 42 degrees. Perfect one to get outside. For tonight, we dropped down to 30 with
I love the decisions made memes so much. Those are good memes, man. Especially like when you see a super healthy food or something like that, and then somebody gets to the cookies.
Oh no!
And like the salad gets left, and then the cookies are gone. It's like a decision was made. Oh man, Robert Kraft. I mean, do you really need? If you're a billionaire, do you really need to solicit? Like, can't you just like throw some money around and have people hanging out? That's what Bilzerian does.
The salt, sludge, snow is covering your car, building up ice blocks in your wheel well. Don't make winter any worse than it is. Make regular visits to one of the finest exterior.
This is why we got to legalize prostitution, so great men like Robert Kraft don't go down to the law.
And Mishawaka off Edison Road, open 7:30 a.m. to 7:30 p.m. 7 days a week. And this
That's right, Roland. Even when the wealthy share their wealth, they can't win.
car wash packages starting at just $15.95. Visit one of their locations or go to parkwoodautospy.com for more details. Don't forget to download their new app with new and exciting things coming throughout the year. Keep your car happy and clean this winter with Parkwood Auto.
Imagine being the judge who has to hear that case.
$15.95. Good at both of their locations in South Bend and Mishawaka. See parkwoodautospy.com for more details. Parkwood Auto Spa. Come as you are. Stay in your car.
Imagine owning a home where the energy you use every day comes from the sun. This may sound like a house built in the distant future or one that you can't afford. However, it is available right now. New Energy Homes, a division of Borkholder Buildings, will design a sustainable, high-performance home that can reduce the amount of money.
R. Kelly's indicted on 10 counts of sexual criminal abuse involving 4 victims.
Reducing the energy needed for heating and cooling. With a zero-energy home, you have already paid for the next 30 years of utility bills up front. Then, as energy costs continue to rise, yours won't. So if you're looking to build a new home and you love the sustainability idea, visit newenergybuilding.com. They'll help you build a zero-energy home. And the best part? Zero never goes up.
There's been some talk around town that Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill's menu was getting an upgrade. In the morning, remember the phrase, "An early bird gets the breakfast burrito"? Breakfast is now served 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily at your favorite Mexican restaurant, Monterey.
So Robert Kraft is responsible for human trafficking, but the border wall isn't.
Mexican and American breakfast classics with some new items mixed in alongside your favorite hot and cold breakfast beverages with 3 alcoholic options to choose from too. From burritos and skillets to combos and omelets, Monterey's new breakfast is something you need to experience. And the best part is you can dine in or order to go on your way to work and they'll make it the way you need it. Off McKinley Avenue, just past Division Street and online at MontereyMexican.com. Wake up early with Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill for breakfast. You know it's what you want.
Casey Hendrickson,
Yep.
Valentine's Day is just around the corner, and you're probably...
Oh yeah, I need to get this commercial changed.
Impress Jewelry Creations. They have an exceptional team of
Having a Valentine's Day commercial on right now is not the best thing in the world.
Show them how special and unique they are
Yeah.
with one-of-a-kind custom piece from Impress Jewelry Creations. Impress also carries top brands like Simon G, Soho, Martha Seeley Modern Jewelry, A. Jaffe, and wait until you see the William Henry collection. Absolutely stunning pieces made with woolly mammoth fossils and unique fossilized orange coral found in only one place in the entire world. They even have pieces made with meteorite which crashed to the earth millions of years ago. And most of the jewelry at Impress Jewelry Creations is made right here in the United States and not from China. So this Valentine's Day, impress with Impress Jewelry Creations. They're located at 1233 University Drive in the City Plaza right next to Temper Grill and C. Kramer Interiors. You can also visit them online at impressjewelers.com.
All right,
Tired
there
of
you
clicking a link that gets blocked because you don't subscribe to the paper? Read all the news you want when you want with Press Reader, a service of Elkhart Public Library.
All other outlets said he was soliciting, but NDU had him trafficking. Did they really?
You're into the true world when sometimes Press Reader has what you're looking for. Fresh headlines every day with your Elkhart Public Library card, and it's free. Visit myepl.org/headlines. Download the app and start reading. Elkhart Public Library, informing our communities.
Heather Clark McGill, you could be burning holes in your eyes right now and not even know about it.
My eyes deserved it. Had to be a ball inflation joke. Had to happen.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Do want to thank R&B Car Company locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. Can you cue my audio, please? All right. Our mayor needs your help, ladies and gentlemen. He released this video, and I wanted to play it for all of you so you know the peril that he is really in.
I'm Pete Buttigieg, and we're in the early stages of putting together a campaign for president. In order to succeed, we're going to have to raise funds from grassroots sources, especially because I've made the decision not to accept corporate PAC money or funds from the fossil fuel industry. In order to earn a place on the debate stage, I'm going to have to demonstrate to the DNC that I've got at least 65,000 different people contributing to our campaign at any level. I'm going to need your help. If you're ready for a new generation of American leadership, I hope you'll consider joining our grassroots fundraising team. Click the link for more information.
I'm donating. I'm doing it. I am doing it. I want him on the stage. I want him to be able to debate. Want him to have a shot. I need 65,000 folks to do it. And that could be a tall order. I don't know. I guess we'll have to find out. If you don't accept money, okay, so if you say you don't accept money from special interest, first, what's a special interest? What would qualify as a special interest? Well, anybody who has a special interest in whatever they're campaigning for or donating for, right? And if you all of a sudden don't accept money from special interests, but you've previously accepted money from special interests, then does it count? Because he's accepted money from special interests before. I'm looking at his campaign funding record, actually. So I don't know. I'm kind of interested in that, and whether or not previously accepting donations from special interests count. I mean, nothing wrong with just going to get the little guy. Feel free to go ahead and do that. Now, I'm dead serious. I told my boss right before the show. I said, full disclosure, I'll be donating to Pete Buttigieg, and he said, "What's the catch?" And I said, I want him on the debate stage. And if the DNC is saying that the candidates are not going to be on the debate stage unless they get 65,000 people to donate to them, then I'm going to help them get on the debate stage. And then we will see exactly what happens from there. And you go through the process on the website. First thing they want to do is capture all of your contact information. Then you hit the donate button, and then you go through with the pre-populated amounts, or you can have an other amount. You go ahead and do that. Then they ask you to make that a monthly contribution, or you can make it a one-time contribution. And then they ask you for a tip. If you would like to tip them with additional money. Is there a different tax? I don't know. Now, I don't donate to a lot of campaigns. I don't know if the tipping a campaign thing is a normal deal or what. I have no idea. But you can tip as well. And then you just put in your information. And then, of course, they capture all your information. You go on their list anyway. So you're going to have to end up dealing with the phone calls, the emails, and all of that if you do this. But I will be donating to his campaign. I want to see him get on the debate stage. He's already facing an uphill battle because, as with the Republicans, you assume that the debate stage is going to be split, okay? We don't know for sure, but you assume it's going to be split. So they'll have like an undercard and then the main card. And you assume that he'll be on the undercard for some time unless he can move his way up. Maybe that is not going to be how it's organized. I don't know. But if you go to his Twitter, join the team that will help get us to 65,000 donors and earn a place on the debate stage. So I don't know how many people have actually donated to him. There's been 61,700 views on the video. So even if everybody on the video donated, he's still not there. He's got plenty of time. Don't get me wrong. He's got plenty of time. But the city limits of South Bend doesn't have a lot of people in the city limits. And once you get outside of the city limits, his popularity drops considerably. But it'll be interesting to see. I hope he gets there. I'd like to see him on the stage just to see this whole thing play out. Did anybody else notice that when Bernie Sanders announced, he launched a bunch of personal attacks and epithets against the president? And then when they asked the president about Bernie Sanders announcing, he's like, I like Bernie. He's like, I wish him well. Is that like a role reversal or what? So that was interesting. So for those of you out there who either support Pete Buttigieg or still want him to have a fair shot at getting on the debate stage, you can go ahead and donate some money to him by going to his website. I will put that in the Daily Show prep for you to go ahead and follow those links. All right. Jussie Smollett. Quick little update. Not going to spend a ton of time on this right now. What's going on over here? That's a live briefing. We don't need to carry that. President in the White House talking about Syria and the military options in Syria, stuff like that. All right. So Smollett's lawyers are trashing the Chicago PD, and Smollett is maintaining his innocence, which he actually did yesterday. It's just I wanted to make sure that I got to a point where I could play any pieces of audio that I had. Wanted to see exactly what he said. So let me just tell you what his lawyers had to say here, and then I will play some audio in just a minute. So his lawyers are trashing the Chicago PD, because bleep those guys. On Thursday, Empire star Jussie Smollett turned himself into authorities after a grand jury charged him with felonious disorderly conduct for filing a false police report over racist homophobic attack, which police say never took place. Media advisory. Today, we witnessed an organized law enforcement spectacle that has no place in the American legal system. The presumption of innocence, a bedrock in the search for justice, was trampled upon at the expense of Mr. Smollett, and notably on the eve of a mayoral election Mr. Smollett is a young man of impeccable character and integrity who fiercely and solemnly maintains his innocence and feels betrayed by a system that apparently wants to skip due process. An impeccable record that included him pleading no contest to lying to authorities in 2007. That's that impeccable character, ladies and gentlemen. Not that we're not all flawed people, but still, he's got impeccable character. So David Rutz actually put together a little montage. I'm going to go a little bit late, but not much. It's a little montage, okay, of the interview with ABC with Jussie Smollett and then the press conference from the superintendent of Chicago PD that I played for you yesterday.
I think that what people need to hear is just the truth.
I'm left hanging my head and asking why.
You do such a disservice when you lie about things like this.
Why would anyone, especially an African-American man, use the symbolism of a noose to make false accusations?
I noticed the rope around my neck and I started screaming.
How could someone look at the hatred and suffering associated with that symbol and see an opportunity to manipulate that symbol to further his own public profile?
They called me a There's no which way you cut it.
Bogus police reports cause real harm.
The fact that we have these fear mongrels.
The accusations within this phony attack received national attention for weeks.
If I had said it was a Muslim or a Mexican or someone black, I feel like the doubters would have supported me a lot much more.
So I'm offended by what's happened, and I'm also angry.
Just remember that mine was reported right away. And look what has happened.
This publicity stunt was a scar that Chicago didn't earn and certainly didn't deserve.
So they get to go free and go about their life and possibly attack someone else?
Smollett attempted to gain attention by sending a false letter that relied on racial, homophobic, and political language.
Do you think there's a link between the letter and the attack? And you did mention it to the police right away about the letter.
When that didn't work, Smollett paid $3,500 to stage this attack and drag Chicago's reputation through the mud in the process.
I will never be the man that this did not happen to. I am forever changed.
And why? This stunt was orchestrated by Smollett because he was dissatisfied with his salary.
If the attackers are never found, how will you be able to heal?
I don't know.
But to put the national spotlight on Chicago for something that is both egregious and untrue is simply shameful.
I still want to believe, with everything that has happened, that there's something called justice.
Oh, man. Charles Barkley had the hottest take on this in his sports coverage yesterday. I'll play that for you coming up. MNC News Time is 3:32. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking
Jinx, Dean. Jinx.
I'm Sean Zimney, the MNC News Center. Our top story, damaging winds possible this weekend. A high wind watch is in effect for Sunday. Sustained winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour with frequent gusts of 45 to 60 are possible.
Upwards of 50 could even be over 50 miles per hour at times during the day. And winds that strong that could cause some power outages as well as isolated damage possible with that. Just to give you an idea of how strong that is, when we have a severe thunderstorm warning issued, that is a criteria of 58 miles per hour, so not far from that.
Oh, Shaq almost choked to death laughing. Oh my God! Tell me about it. You gotta hit him with like a baseball bat or something.
You'd be like this. You wouldn't be able to get leverage. You have to stand on a chair to get the right angle.
Hit him with a javelin. Lay down. We gotta hit you stuff.
Take a sledgehammer.
The stuff that like with Arnold or Dwayne Johnson, and then you have like Shaq, and you have like Yao Ming, because Yao Ming makes Shaq look tiny. And it's like, it's hysterical.
There's a picture of Chris Evans and Shaq standing by each other.
Yeah.
And you can tell by the look on Chris's face that he's not used to being small.
Yeah.
And he's just like really uncomfortable.
He's very uncomfortable with being the small guy. Yeah.
Reported shooting in South Bend. Police were called to the scene early this afternoon. The 1300 block of West Fisher. No word yet on the circumstances that led to the gunfire.
I don't know, like a month ago, I was like, God, if only somebody had told us that R. Kelly was a was a danger to society, like in 1995.
Cook County State's Attorney Kimberly Fox, R. Kelly has maintained his innocence since rumors of sexual abuse and misconduct first surfaced in the early 2000s. New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft is in trouble with the law, charged with solicitation of prostitution in Florida. Investigators also say they have it on video since it was part of a sex trafficking sting.
Does the video contain Mr. Kraft inside receiving the alleged acts? The answer to that is yes.
Jupiter, Florida Police Chief Daniel Kerr, authorities say
Nope, they're not.
warrants are expected.
I don't know if you guys saw it or if I said anything about it. I said that Amazon should cancel her Amazon account. I am almost positive she's got a Prime account too. Amazon should cancel it and then publicly tell everybody they did it. That's what I think they should do.
With every sandwich, lunch, and dinner special. Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialist, first warning forecast.
Plenty of sunshine today with temperatures warming up to 42 degrees. For tonight, we'll see cloud cover start to increase, a low of 30. And then rainy and breezy on Saturday with temperatures warming up to 50 degrees by midnight. And could even have a couple rumbles of thunder. But we turn very windy for Sunday. Could see some isolated damage. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, meteorologist Emily Kennedy.
News powered by Polymax of 4 Lakes. Now offering flavored Ultracell Full Spectrum CBD oil. Ask about it today and come taste what it means to make American food great again.
Polymax at 4 Lakes. Locally raised meats made to order American classics like walleye, bluegill, haddock, hand-cut Chairman's Reserve steaks, slow-smoked ribs, double bacon, double cheeseburgers, wings, and a full bar to put the finishing touches on your visit. Just a short drive from anywhere in Michiana. We're located between the 9th and 10th holes of 4 Lakes.
Turn my audio up.
12 in Edwardsburg, and we are open to the public. Check out our daily specials today. Visit Tuesdays through Saturdays to taste what it means to make American food great again.
You are used to stepping up and protecting and serving as members.
Charles Barkley.
The state of Indiana wants to honor our vets. The new
He's entertaining.
website provides job opportunities, job training, and the Honor Our Vets Homeland program, specifically designed to keep and welcome qualified active duty, veterans, and retired military personnel to the Hoosier State. Indiana, where job opportunity and affordable home ownership meet.
Go to in.gov/veterans. Sponsored by the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority and the station.
This is Hoosier Ag Today. I'm Andy Eubank with the Friday Closing Farm Market Report. It's brought to you by IOM Grain. Get a premium on every bushel.
Judges ruled that federal prosecutors broke the law making a plea deal with Jeffrey Epstein and not informing his victims.
$2.50 premiums. The ag markets very quiet, working mostly higher all day long to end the week.
Rashida Tlaib calls for a boycott of Israel, but she used an Israeli company to build her campaign website.
In July, up a quarter, 392.5. Beans also higher all day. Finished down though. March 3/4 lower at 9.10 1/4. May 9.23 3/4 off a half cent. In July down a quarter, 9.37 1/4. A quarter point up on the March wheat, finishing at 4.86 3/4. Mixed livestock, April live cattle 27 higher, 28.87. And April lean hogs down.
So Live Action released a video that allegedly, I haven't seen it, shows an abortion worker telling a woman that a baby will drown in a jar of solution if it is born alive.
Modern Kitchen on McKinley, east of Ash Road in Elkhart.
From the Fox Business Network, on Wall Street stocks are higher in the final hour of trading on trade optimism between the U.S. and China. Among the gainers today, tech and healthcare companies and shares of Roku are soaring and up around 21% after the streaming video company reported better than expected revenue and delivered an upbeat forecast. Cord cutters continue to flock to Roku based on growth in its
Hey, another 2 animals that we thought were extinct have been found. Man, that's like 10 animals in the past several years that we thought were gone. I'm telling you, Bigfoot's out there, dude. Like 70% of the forest in North America and the Pacific Northwest has never been seen by man.
I'm more inclined to believe in mermaids considering we explored most of the ocean.
We know what mermaids are, though. Mermaids are those belugas, right? Or that other whale, where it looks like they have like people legs.
See them all around town.
That's what they think. I think fishermen saw the bottom half of those whales and they called them mermaids because they kind of look like a lady down there.
Cintas helps with their fire protection and first aid and safety programs.
That's what they say.
Helps keep their facility and restrooms clean and stocked. So you know those companies care about their employees, facilities, and image. When all those things work together.
Oh, you walked into a circus, Matthew. Happy Friday. I'll get to the breastfeeding thing in the 4 o'clock. Most likely, I'm going to get to it in the 4 o'clock. It's a doozer.
574-621-3277.
A giant tortoise that hasn't been seen for more than 100 years was recently discovered on Galapagos.
Any price range and in any location. I am not a realtor or associated with any realty company.
2 reports of animals previously thought to be extinct popping up in the same day.
574-621-3277. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind them payment houses. I even buy my tenant will pay me the rent houses. Do you own a house that is trashed and needs thousands of dollars in repairs?
Northbound?
Great, because I love buying damaged houses too.
Okay.
I buy vacant houses, abandoned houses, condemned houses, and foreclosure houses. If you
Second caller just called in. County Road 17, County Road 28, northbound. There's an accident in the ocean.
That's 574-621.
Put it in the chat, or it didn't happen.
Already in the chat.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
Will you pay more taxes than that?
Fine. In the chat halfway through the last segment.
It was?
Yeah.
Well, this is the first time you told me about it. But you just told me about it. Well, how am I supposed to know what's in the chat?
I'm supposed to look at it, Casey.
Well, I can't look at it. I'm using the clock. It's on the clock tab. I don't have a notice. Like, there's no, like, bubble that comes up and says you have a chat. Okay?
Well,
it's not like Messenger, man. You gotta tell me. Jeez.
maybe you should be more proactive.
Do your job, producer. God.
Hey, I told you now, and that's all that matters.
That's true. That's what the IRS said when they were called in and said, why did you destroy the hard drives that you're required to keep that has all the proof that you were targeting conservative groups? I'm telling you now. But you should have told us before. But I'm telling you now. Yes, I took a nap today and came in late. So, sorry.
I was here before he was.
It was, yeah, I came in at like 2:40. So, yeah. Sorry.
No, that's fine.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. County Road 17 and County Road 28 northbound in Goshen. There's an accident there. Thank you for calling that in. We do appreciate it. Of course, if you have any updates or any additional things to report, please give us a call and let us know. Also, the Guns and Everything Outdoor Spring Show, brought to you by Trap and Fool and Second Amendment Arms and Range, is coming up on March 2nd and March 3rd. That's Saturday and Sunday, 9 a.m. It gets going on both days at the Crown Event Center in New Carlisle. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information about that. All right, here we go. A couple of text messages first. Casey, I heard that some of the Democratic candidates are calling for reparations payments. Is that true? Yes. A couple of them have mentioned that. Will it be a central tenet of their campaign? Probably not. But, you know, as you know, in primaries, you appeal to the base. And you have to get the ravenous base first. And then you are supposed to centralize yourself as you get into the general election. That's usually how things are supposed to go, although it's a new political climate, without a doubt. Okay, so let's talk about all of the good that Officer Hauser has done. CPR on babies, saving babies, etc. He's one of the best. I'm sure he did a lot of great things in his career. I have no doubt about that. But with that said, you know, he was recommended to be terminated for various violations of department policy. He's resigned, and there is that. Casey, why were 25 investigators put on the Empire dude's case? What made it so special? I don't think it was 25. Was that I thought it was 12. It was 12, and I think I heard of 15 at one point. I think it was 12 detectives. Obviously, there's other officers that are involved in that. So I don't know. Maybe there's 25 active people who are working on the case total. But the number of detectives that I heard were 12. But why was it so special? Because of the narrative. You know, we had the Democrat call a couple of days ago, and he's like, hey, we should probably move on and talk about yesterday, I guess it was, and talk about this other thing now. That's what they want to do. If the narrative fits, they want to push it. And then the moment the narrative doesn't benefit them in any way, they want to move on. R. Kelly is now going to be something that you're going to see heavily pushed. You're going to see the push again with the Coast Guard individual because he's a white supremacist. So, anything to get Jussie Smollett out of the news. Apparently there was a bunch of fights and things like that on the set yesterday. And now they're saying that he was actually cut from the show. So, last 2 episodes he's cut. But he left the jail. He bonded himself out and he went right over to the set of the show. And apparently there was some pretty intense verbal altercations and things like that were happening with staff members. All right, I have to play this because Charles Barkley is a national treasure. Okay, I have to play this. This is Charles Barkley breaking down everything that happened yesterday. It starts off with a guy, one of the members of the cast going over to a wall and saying, "Hey, what are these scenarios that we may still have on the table for the remaining season?" And this is how it all went down.
Most ridiculous one over there that's still living that you would say has no chance of happening.
Two black guys beating a black guy up.
And have a black guy.
Sorry, speaking out loud.
That is Shaq dying.
It's not on here, man.
You can hear the camera guys too.
Well, the Clippers will not make the playoffs. And what kind of hats they had on, Chuck? Magas hat.
The white guy is trying to hold it together and still make it the segment.
The Lakers will not make the playoffs. The Kings will is the latest edition. Go ahead, Kenny. I can't believe you, Chuck. You pay him with cash? Chuckster. You pay him with cash or you write him a check, Chuck? Never break. Hey, listen, America. How? America. Let me just tell you something.
What's that?
Do not commit crimes with checks. Come on, man. You cannot. If you're going to break the law, do not write a check.
Because you're writing a check that what? Behind cash.
Yo, man, you can cash up. Hey, get cash, man. I never used the ATM. Now I heard you can only get $200 out of it. $500. Stop, literally.
You're
going to make a lot of stops to the ATM.
I got one more question to ask you. Do you buy the face mask, the rope, and the thing in the same store?
You think they put that on a receipt? Face mask, rope, bleach, in the same store? On the same store.
You wouldn't even go to 3 different stores.
Charles Barkley's a national treasure. We got more coming up. 95.3 MNC.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk.
Your breaking news and weather station.
Weather served up by the Prime Table in Niles. 25 years of exceptional food, tremendous service, and great people. Visit Prime Table today for breakfast, lunch, or dinner.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, day forecast.
Sunshine again today with temperatures warming up to 42 degrees. Perfect one to get outside. For tonight, we drop down to 30 with cloud cover moving back in. And Saturday is rainy and breezy with temperatures slowly warming up to 50 degrees by midnight. But could see a brief period of freezing rain early Saturday morning before many are awake. Even a couple rumbles of thunder, though, can't be ruled out once we get to Saturday evening. For Sunday, that rain briefly changes over to snow. Not expecting much to accumulate, but definitely seeing some very strong gusty winds. Going to have winds gusting upwards of 50 to even near 60 miles per hour at times. That's strong enough to do some damage and cause some power outages, so keep that flashlight nearby. Otherwise, temperatures will be full.
Well, that's not currently our topic right now, but you can call at 5 o'clock during open lines, and we'll gladly take your call then and talk to you.
On all your listening devices, on the radio at 95.3 FM, on the computer.
caller wants you to make sure that you know the difference between a white nationalist and a white supremacist.
How many times have I explained this? How many times have I explained
He
this?
says that he's saying it because you called the lieutenant guy a white supremacist when he was a white nationalist.
He's a
But they're both bad. So
he's
it
a
doesn't-
self-described white supremacist. I know that he's listed as a white nationalist.
Messenger.
Good lord.
Messenger.
The thing is he probably got the information on the difference between the two from this show. And now he's like,
They're two different beasts, right? But they're both bad. So why are we offended that we get them wrong? They're both bad things.
When you walk into our door, when you engage with anybody on our staff, realize that you're dealing with true professionals, and they
Oh,
absolutely
I hope he calls it 5. That'll be good.
Also, and then he went to how his ancestors' family was sold into slavery because he's from Scotland and England.
They did. There was a lot of white slaves in the U.S. Nobody talks about it. In fact, Roland just mentioned, do the Irish get slave reparations too?
that their job, no matter how big or small, is important to us. From wraps to signs, apparel and fleets, display your brand.
Before we kicked over to full slavery, which happened because of a black man, when we had indentured servitude, most of the indentured servants were Irish.
Been selling pre-owned vehicles at Black Monday Motors for 16 years. Greg and I have been working together a long time. Every year there's a lot of excitement at tax time. Yeah, that's right. So many vehicles.
Michiana's news channel. We'd like to talk to Casey.
This offering of new Jeep, Ram, Chrysler, Dodge, Buick, and GMC models. We only stock the best and most desirable from these premium brands. We have all makes and models.
He might bring it up, but if he doesn't bring it up by the 5 o'clock hour, you can call them and ask him about it then.
Buying a new or pre-owned vehicle from Black Monday Motors is the best way to make that dollar go further and get more
Will do.
money. Using that money as a down payment lowers your monthly payment. You could be driving
Are you going to talk about the mayoral candidate that's suspected of stealing a car?
I did it yesterday.
customers and employees alike. That's why so many of us have been here for so long.
I have a ton of inside information on that I can't reveal yet either.
Shop the inventory right now at BlackMondayMotors.com. I'm Dave Anderson, and I'm Greg Sligo.
Again.
TheBurningTruth.us.
Again. Messenger.
Okay. Messenger. TheBurningTruth.us. Yesterday's podcast.
I'm just the messenger. Doing my job.
My God. People are on my ass today.
Graver Custom Remodeling works with higher-end vendors, materials, and craftsmen to complete truly custom projects. When you see your new addition in your mind and meet with the Graver team, you begin to see what custom really means.
Like, holy smokes, man.
Your old farmhouse, creating your ultimate living space, or taking your kitchen to the next level. Make it custom and make it a family decision. Call on the Graver family at Graver Custom Remodeling. Online at GraverCustomRemodeling.com.
That, like,
What the hell was that?
Hi, this is Dr. Roger Pacino. I know many of you have been having trouble with your teeth for years. You've been wanting to do something about it, but you have lots of questions and no dental insurance.
What hour did I talk about it?
Right dental solution to meet your needs. Whether that's getting you out of pain, improving your appearance, or improving your overall dental health. No insurance, no problem. You don't have to have dental insurance to get great care from AFDEN. We have
Pretty sure that was hour 2.
to fit almost any budget, including 0% APR for those who qualify, and in-house financing for those with less than perfect credit. Call today at 277-2220 or visit us on the web at afdent.com. See what patient-friendly dentistry is all about at Afdent on Douglas Road in Mishawaka.
Can you get details on the secret movie? Some. Not too much, but some. Yep. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for
for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. People are on my case today, man. I've had 3 complaints already. And the 2 of them make no sense. Now, somebody just asked you if I was going to talk about the mayoral candidate who stole his own car back. Okay. Talked about it yesterday, 4 o'clock hour. But I have inside details on this that I can't reveal yet. I'm just going to tell you it's going to get even better. Okay. It's going to be even better when everything comes out. I have details that I cannot share with you about that particular case. But we did discuss it yesterday. If you want to bring it up again in the 5 o'clock hour, by all means, please do. If you have anything to add to it or you missed my commentary on it and have some questions, by all means, please call in the 5 o'clock hour to go ahead and do that. All right, 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. Another national treasure, Robert Kraft, has been charged in Florida with... Oh, it's in Florida. It doesn't count. Miami's in their division. This doesn't count. This is such garbage. Are you kidding me? Okay, I've got people in the live stream right now telling me how Indianapolis media is making Robert Kraft to be a sex trafficker. You know why? Because of the Colts and the rivalry with the Colts. So now in Florida, by the way, if you're Robert Kraft, why on earth would you ever go to Florida? Find somewhere else with a beach, okay? Don't go to Florida or go to Tampa. At least they don't like Miami. On Friday morning, police in Jupiter, Florida, charged prominent New England Patriots owner Robert Kraft, who is worth an estimated $6.6 billion. Can I have the 0.6? I'll just take that off of your hands. It'll lower your taxes, I promise. With soliciting prostitution at a local spa. Maybe he just misread the signs. Local police claim that there is inculpatory video evidence of this. Oh, and this gets leaked. Whatever website buys the rights to this, oh man. Kraft is 77 years old. He's accused of paying for sexual acts at the Orchids of Asia Day Spa in Jupiter, which sounds like a fine establishment, located about 90 miles north of Miami. Like I said, why would you ever go to Miami if you are the owner of the Patriots? His name was among more than a dozen who were charged. Police said that they have Kraft and others on video receiving the sexual acts and that he participated in prostitution in Florida 2 separate times. The spa had been shut down after a months-long investigation revealed women were participating in sexual servitude, according to TC Palm, citing arrest records. 9 other spas in Orlando, Palm Beach County, and Treasure Coast had also been shut down as part of the investigation. Now, it's kind of interesting if Indianapolis media is pushing him as a sex trafficker. Now, here's the thing. There's sexual servitude. Most of the establishments that engage in this behavior after a massage, those girls are slaves. They're not willing participants. And so sex trafficking from Asia in particular with these spas is extremely common. But isn't it interesting that our media will run and jump on the sex trafficking narrative if it involves a well-known American billionaire who wasn't involved in the trafficking aspect of it, but of course he's supporting trafficking. All right, if he's supporting trafficking by getting sexual favors at a massage parlor, aren't you supporting trafficking by allowing people to traffic and come into the country without doing background checks on them and without splitting them up to make sure that they're actually the guardian of the child that's with them and, without a wall? Just throwing it out there. The media is real quick to go after the rich white guy who is, he's contributing to trafficking. What do you think a lack of a barrier at the border is doing? The Hill notes that Kraft is but one of 25 people who have faced charges as a result of the investigation. Let's see. However, reports that about 100 men will be arrested overall. Nothing about the women? There's women involved in this. There's women involved in this. Jupiter Police Chief Daniel Kerr stated that the police concern is the investigation centers around the possibility of victims of human trafficking. And again, that is predominantly the case with these women who are at these establishments. So, a lot of guys joke about it and they talk about doing it, but the reality is that the vast majority of these women don't have a choice. They're doing this on their own. And so that is a huge difference. It's also another argument for legalizing this stuff, because then you don't have the trafficking element of it and it can be regulated. And then, of course, you don't have national treasures like Robert Kraft getting busted for this stuff. You got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
We could have called Space Force Jupiter Force. Sorry, what? We could have called Space Force Jupiter Force after the Jupiter Police Department.
A grand jury returned an indictment on 4 counts of aggravated criminal sexual abuse based on the victim being...
They say they might have video evidence, so maybe they've been surveilling with videos. I don't know.
Cook County State's Attorney Kimberly Fox announced 10 counts in all and 4 victims, 3 of them minors. The allegations spanning at least 2 decades. A Chicago judge authorizing a no-bail arrest warrant for Kelly, who has long denied claims of sexual misconduct. He's now scheduled to appear in bond court tomorrow. President Trump moments ago saying he still thinks a trade deal with China can be worked out.
Both parties want to make this a real deal. We want to make it a meaningful deal, not a deal that's done and doesn't mean anything. We want to make this a deal that's going to last for many, many years, and a deal that's going to be...
I honestly can't tell you. I honestly can't tell you, okay? But I do know some stuff about the mayoral candidate. It'll probably come out next week. I can give you that much.
Well, it's very sad. I was very surprised to see it.
If he's just on the client's list, is that grounds for anything? I suppose it depends on the client list. Again, they seem to be indicating that they have footage, but if his name is just on the client's list, then I don't know, because they do have like a list of people that have been published in the operation there, but if his name is the only thing that is on there, yeah, proving that he actually did receive sexual favors would be very difficult. Somebody would have to flip on him as a witness. But they seem to be indicating that they have video.
All sorts of weather set to hit us this weekend, and it starts with a brief period of freezing rain tomorrow morning.
If you had plans on getting up early and traveling, probably cool off until 9. That's when temperatures are expected to warm up above freezing.
ABC 57 meteorologist Emily Kinnan gets
Seeing people out on their motorcycles today and getting it in while they can. Cue audio.
If it was like switching or like something like that. Okay, yeah. Okay. It's not going to be moving around in the jar. Okay, the solution would make it like that's okay. So like if it looked like it was like breathing or something like that, it won't be it. Okay. So I'm not even going to see it. No. So okay, so I mean, like, if that happens, they take it out and it goes on that where they do okay, so what is the solution? Like,
as well as information about the Indiana State Police Trooper.
Okay. Yeah, so like, and, you know, by the time you get to the lab,
and a candidate for mayor of South Bend has been named a suspect in an SUV theft in Stark County.
Yeah.
Police officer found a stolen SUV in front of a home on Whitehall Avenue in South Bend, according to a report. Official campaign.
So like, you'll make sure like I don't have to deal with it. It will die. Like
authorities say Smith, who was one of the Democratic candidates for mayor of South Bend, owned the vehicle before it was repossessed. It was reported stolen from an impound lot on February 13th.
Like if I feel like I'm having like labor pain kind of thing, I'll call you. Like what if it like popped out like at home? Like yeah.
Get together with friends for breakfast or lunch every week.
Just the floor, like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Or what would we do with it? That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys would call me, like, if anything, you know, we'll tell you to put it in the bag.
We could even have a couple rumbles of thunder, but we turn very windy for Sunday. Could see some isolated damage. And the ABC with 7 first warning
Like at this stage, every day, whatever happens at home, you know, like, don't call the hospital. So why not call the hospital? Like, we started it first.
Direct to your email. Thursday mornings and in the afternoon. Powered by
You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine.
Now at 953mnc.com. Your breaking news and weather station.
News powered by Polymax of 4 Lakes. Now offering flavored.
That's Lila Rose's latest video.
About it today. And come taste what it means to make American food great again.
Polymax at 4 Lakes. Locally raised meats made to order American classics like walleye, bluegill, haddock, hand-cut Chairman's Reserve steaks, slow-smoked ribs, double bacon, double cheeseburgers, wings, and a full bar to put the finishing touches on your visit. Just a short drive from anywhere in Michiana. We're located between the 9th and 10th holes.
Who would watch a video of an old wrinkly white dude getting it on?
Open to the public. Check out our daily specials today.
Because it's Robert Kraft, everybody would watch it.
In over 3 decades, 50,000 Indiana homes have been trusted to be window.
Every Miami fan, everybody in that division would have screen caps of that when they play the Patriots every year. They'd be making big old signs.
Sliding or swing patio doors, 4-section wood French doors, stunning entry systems, detailed siding, all with the goal of improving energy savings and quality of life.
I'll redo the chat.
Doors. Buy 6 windows, get 3 free, and no payments for 12
Here.
months.
Some job recruitment sites overload your inbox with resumes. Glassdoor knows not just any will do. From 62 million job seekers, Glassdoor only matches you with qualified candidates who have the skills and experience your small business needs to grow. In fact, Glassdoor hires are 30% more likely to stay with your company longer.
No, not the Crowder video. I haven't watched the Crowder one yet.
The resumes. Go to glassdoor.com/hire. Glassdoor. Find the right fit for your business.
This is what flow from Progressive sounds like. Many hilarious commercials.
And basic motorcycle policies start at just $75 a year. I know, right? Do you think I say I know right too often? I do. I know, right? I have to stop, don't I? I know.
And this is what that same commercial sounds like on your motorcycle. And even our commercials are better on a bike. Progressive keeps you on yours. Get a quote in as little as 3 minutes at Progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and affiliates. Annual premium for basic liability policy not available in all states.
Talk radio that talks with you, not at you. Casey Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. And please put MNC at the beginning of that message. All right, so the Guns and Everything Outdoor Spring Show, brought to you by Trap and Fool and Second Amendment Arms and Range. That is happening Saturday, March 2nd and Sunday, March 3rd. Starts at 9 o'clock both days at the Crown Event Center in New Carlisle. If you have a booth that you want to set up, you would like some booth space, you can contact Paul over at secondamendmentarms.net. There will be door prizes. Kids under 12 are free, and everything dealing with hunting and trapping and fishing and all of that outdoor stuff is going to be out there. All right. What do we have here? Let's see if I have anything interesting. I honestly believe the Empire guy is loving all of this. This may have been his plan all along. Great show. Thank you, Doug. I don't know that he is liking that he got caught. His goal was to get attention. You know, there's no doubt about that. His goal was to get attention, but it'll be interesting to see what happens with this, without a doubt. You know, it's he should have checked into rehab. He checked in rehab, although he did tell cops that he's untreated drug addiction. He told police that. So this will be his escape with rehab, just like we see with every celebrity.
When they're in trouble, they go to rehab, they come out, everybody forgives them. Oh, see, it was just the drugs. That's all it was. It wasn't anything normal, just the drugs. All right, I'm going to talk about abortion here for a little bit. And Lila Rose has released a new video, horrific undercover video released by the pro-life group Live Action. This week reveals an abortion clinic worker telling a woman that her baby would be drowned in a jar of solution if it were born alive during the procedure, meaning the abortion. There's legislation that's been introduced, some at state level, some at federal level, that if the abortion is failed and the child is born alive, that the doctors would have to provide life-saving care to the child. And the pro-abortion lobby is very opposed to that. Now, remember, one of the tenets of the abortion lobby is that the child can't live outside the mother's womb, therefore it's not a human baby. But if it survives and lives outside of the mother's womb, that narrative goes away. So they want the child to die as quick as possible because it shatters their argument with political campaigning and that sort of thing. Now, according to Life News, Live Action filmed the video as part of an undercover investigation in 2013. They circulated it once again this Wednesday as Congress debates a bill to protect newborn babies from infanticide. So this is from 2013. I'm going to play it for you. And I just want you to listen to the conversation with the undercover reporter and the abortion clinic worker. Again, this is in 2013, though, so this is a number of years ago. I just want you to be clear on that. But this is kind of an explanation of how things are handled in some places if the child is born alive.
What if it was like twitching or like something like that? Like the solution will make it stop. Okay. Yeah. Okay. It's not going to be moving around in the jar. Okay, the solution would make it like. Yeah, that's the whole purpose of the solution. Okay, so like if it looked like it was like breathing or something like that, it'll automatically stop. It won't be able to. It won't be okay. So I'm not even gonna see it. No. So okay. So I mean, like if that happens, you're asleep, they take it out and it goes into our lab where they do the stuff with the jar and cleaning and all that. Okay. So what is the solution? It's just like something like toxic or something. Yeah. Okay. We have to do that to keep it clean and. Because by the time it gets to the lab, it still needs to be freshly, Yeah. So they could weigh it, so it could be proper weight to make sure that everything came out of you. Like there's no pieces left in you. So like you'll make sure like I don't have to deal with it. No, if it will die. Like you're done. Once you start this today, that's it. You're not gonna see it. We're not gonna show you your sonogram pictures. We're not gonna. Yeah. All right. So I'm like, if I feel like I'm having like labor pain kind of thing. Yeah. Call us. Call you. Yeah. We have an emergency line. Like, what if it like pops out like at home? Like, if it comes out. Yeah. Then it comes out. Then flush it. Just like flush it. Yeah. But you still have to come in. Okay. We have to make sure that everything came out. But we never had a situation like that. Because if it's like, what if it's like on the floor? Like, you know what I'm saying? Yeah. Well, what would we do with it? We're not going to be taking care of it. That's what I'm saying. Like, you guys would come and, like... If anything, we'll tell you to put it in a bag or something or somewhere and bring it to us. And then we have 2-day procedures all the time. You do? It's, like, pretty common. Like, even with me kind of stage. Yeah. Like, at this stage. Like, every day. Whatever happens at home, like, don't call the hospital. No. Call us. Okay. Why? So why not call the hospital? Like, because we started it first. The hospital won't take you. They won't touch you either because we started it. So whoever starts it has to finish it.
Okay, so that's Lila Rose. I don't know who the reporter is. I don't know if that's her in the room or not. But that was from 2013. Okay. Now this is coming up because next week the Senate is going to be voting on the Born Alive Abortion Survivor Protection Act. They've been hearing testimony from people who lived through botched abortions. And, when the abortion was not successful, the mother chose not to go forward. But this is a scenario where in 2013, Live Action had an undercover reporter in there. And they said, hey, this is, what happens if the child still comes out alive? And we'll drown it in this solution. And, obviously it's pretty grisly details on there. Now, I haven't seen the new video from Crowder, but this is getting a lot of attention, and people in the live stream have mentioned it as well. With late-term abortion currently a pressing topic in Congress in several states, conservative commentator Steven Crowder has released his biggest undercover video yet to give the world an inside look at a notorious facility where late-term abortions are committed. Now, again, late-term abortions are murder. It doesn't matter if you're pro-life, pro-abortion, doesn't matter. Those are viable human babies who can live outside of the mother's womb. In the video, a woman named Marielle wears a hidden camera to Boulder Abortion Clinic in Boulder, Colorado, which is operated by the infamous Dr. Warren Hearn. At the time of filming, she was 25 weeks pregnant with her baby, Rose. At 25 weeks, Rose is well developed, Crowder narrates. She already has hair on her head. She can get the hiccups. She even recognizes her mother's voice from the womb. Rose also has a viability of 50 to 80%. In 7 states, with more on the way, it is perfectly legal to abort Rose for any reason. Worse, it's easy. The video then shows Hearn's staff to be notably paranoid, first forbidding patients from bringing purses, bags, cell phones, snacks, or water into the building. At one point, a nurse comes in to ask Marielle if another patient that they had struck up a conversation with said anything odd to you, explaining that they're always nervous because there's a whole anti-choice movement of people that get into the waiting rooms and then sit in the waiting rooms and talk people out of their abortions. Why would you be nervous about somebody having a conversation with somebody in your lobby? Seems a little interesting. Most of the video focuses on this patient X who expressed severe conflict about whether to abort a baby that she first thought was 28 weeks old, but was then determined to be 32 weeks old. She noted that tests showed her baby, whom she personified as him, as medically fine. So the whole thing goes into that, and how they're pushing for the abortion at 32 weeks, as clinic was. Now, this also gets interesting because a couple is suing Planned Parenthood right now for child support after they had a failed abortion. So they already had 2 kids. They didn't want a 3rd kid. So they're in Idaho. They went to a Planned Parenthood to have an abortion. It didn't work. And now they are suing Planned Parenthood for deceiving them. And they want Planned Parenthood to pay for the cost of raising an additional unplanned child. Now, if you're Planned Parenthood, it's pretty hard for you to say, well, it's not our responsibility, right? Because Planned Parenthood says it's not your responsibility you got pregnant. So it's really interesting stuff happening right now. But the Senate votes on the Born Alive bill next week. It likely will not pass the House, but is still going to be a vote that is highly touted next week when the Senate takes it up. And we got more coming up on News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Bypass backups and toll.
Yeah, it wasn't a nervous laugh. I'll put the video in the show prep so you can see it.
Weather served by the Prime Table restaurant in Niles. The Prime Table offers 2 homemade soups prepared fresh every day. Soup included with every sandwich, lunch, and dinner special.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialists, 5-day forecast.
A very active weather weekend. Sunday starts around 32.
Yeah, I haven't had a chance to watch the Crowder one yet. I know that everybody's talking about it, but I didn't have, I think it's like 30 minutes or something.
Temperatures spike to near 50. That's right at midnight. Then they crash through Sunday down below freezing by the end of the day, rain mixing with snow. But the big story for Sunday is the winds. 30, wind gusts topping 50, possibly as high as 60 miles per hour on Sunday. Extremely windy. Temperatures keep falling into Monday. Monday, partly cloudy with a high of 28. Tuesday, chance of snow showers, high of 32. More the same on Wednesday. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, our chief meteorologist, Tom Coombs.
The top news stories.
I believe at the end of the day, this wall is going to be built, not sea to shining sea, but about 200 miles.
I will never waver from my sacred duty to defend this nation and its people. We will get the job done. The wall is on its way. It's happening.
Now we're being put at risk because of this crisis that is being manufactured. Nancy Pelosi has run circles around the President of the United States, not once, now twice.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. your breaking news and weather station.
Attention all camping and RV enthusiasts. The 8th annual Michiana Camping and RV Show will be held at the Michiana Event Center February 22nd through the 24th. Shop hundreds of RVs from the best RV manufacturers at factory direct pricing. Find the best deals on RVs, travel trailers.
All right, breastfeeding.
Models and much more at the Michiana Camping and RV Show. Friday and Saturday, February 22nd and 23rd from 10 until 8, and Sunday, February 24th from 11 until 5. Manufacturer representatives will be working with dealers such as Wana RV, Richards RV Sales,
Can listen to it.
RV, Showalter RV, Goshen RV Center, and
Yeah, Crowder's podcast is tough to listen to because it's such a visual medium. So when he has the audio only podcast, it's a rough listen sometimes.
the Michiana Camping and RV Show at the Michiana Event Center, February 22nd through the 24th. Go online to michianaevents.com for more information.
Message and date rates may apply.
When did it become okay for men?
Ooh, breaking. Robert Kraft is not the biggest name involved in the prostitution case.
Ageless male max.
Oh, man.
An ingredient that helps boost your total testosterone.
Who do we have? Who do we have? Who do we have?
And twice the reduction of body fat percentage than exercise alone. Plus,
Come on, stupid pop-ups. All right, here we go.
Increase in nitric oxide, which can be handy in the gym and in the bedroom. Take your manhood to the max by trying your first 30-day bottle free. Just pay shipping and handling. Not 10 days, not 15 days, but a full 30-day supply free when you text the word FAST to 797979. Finally, a formula that boosts total testosterone. If your results with Ageless Male Max are too intense, please decrease use. For your free bottle, text FAST to 797979.
Man, do we have any names? Or are they just saying that there's other names coming?
7979.
At DJ Construction, we're building into our communities, like the new 244,000 square.
So they're saying there's a bunch of prominent people in Florida, but they're not saying who the biggest names are. Isn't that interesting? Robert Kraft's name got leaked, though. 90 miles away from Miami.
We live here, we care here. DJ Construction, building into our community.
Mm-hmm.
It's time to build, make us your first.
Kraft's people deny it, of course.
Hey, something keeping you up at night? Could it be your 20-year-old mattress? Or maybe it's the second mortgage you'll need to replace it. Either way, check out Elkhart Bedding. At Elkhart Bedding, we don't have easy payment plans or financing available. We don't need to. By eliminating the middleman, Elkhart Bedding sells quality.
Is it possible that we can get a wall that includes California? I wish.
And saves you up to half of what a national brand costs. Get the most bed for your money. Buy factory direct at Elkhart Bedding. Find out more at elkhartbedding.com.
Ah, you had a cat? Damn, Roland. People think I hate cats.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. That is 2595-953. You can also send a text message to 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. I do want to thank R&B Car Company locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. All right, here it is. First of all, we're about half hour away from open lines. So at 5 o'clock, you can call about anything you want. Lots of people have been calling us throughout the day saying, I want to talk about this. Cool. Call at 5 o'clock. That's your opportunity. You know, we open up that last hour of the program of the week for you to be able to get whatever you want to say off your chest and engage in a discussion. Sometimes I don't talk about something and you want me to bring it up. Sometimes you just have personal questions. Some people have sought advice from me in the past. Sometimes you want to yell at me for a position I took on something earlier in the week. That's okay. That's what it's for. It's your opportunity to shine. Don't screw it up. That happens at 5 o'clock. All right, breastfeeding men. Not breastfeeding men, but men who breastfeed. Hormone kit that gives men the ability to breastfeed could be available soon. Yeah, that sounds healthy. Let's just alter our hormones in our body to let us breastfeed. Why would any self-respecting man do this? Writes John Hawkins. I gotta have John on. I haven't talked to John in a couple of years. He's a buddy of mine. He's a journalist, but he started this website, and I want to write for it. Cool. If the mother, all right, does this, so if the mom is having trouble breastfeeding, and by the way, breastfeeding is not always easy. So if the mom is having trouble breastfeeding, and then the dad is able to breastfeed, is that not just one more thing that men are taking away from women? I'm asking for a friend. I'm ladies, I'm genuinely just asking a question here, because I'm trying not to further oppress you by taking away all of your sports world records, and also your Women of the Year awards, and now breastfeeding, which is like one of the things that is the most unique to women. We've already taken away your exclusive ability to give birth. Okay, we've already gotten men who now have pregnancy and can carry the child term. So you pretty much had breastfeeding. That was it. And very few men, some men will actually lactate. And I don't know, it's a phenomenon like that's extremely rare. But this is actively going out there and saying, yeah, he can do it instead of me. You do know that kids tend to pick one milk and they stick with it, right? So if you have the mother and she either doesn't want to or is too tired or maybe it's difficult, and then the guy starts breastfeeding and the kid says, oh, hey, I like dad's better, kid's probably not going to ever accept mom, okay? If the mother is unable to produce milk, the male partner can use the empathy tool. Why not just use formula? They already sell these devices where you use the formula, but the guy wears it. So you're holding the kid. No, I don't have one of these. So you're holding the kid, but it's formula, right? But you have the same like general, the closeness, the touching, the companionship, that sort of thing. So anyway, the male partner can use the empathy tool in conjunction with hormone therapy, which again sounds totally healthy, which will give a man breasts that can get as big as a B cup. I know men with bigger than B cups now. Anyway, male lactation is clinically possible and provides interesting questions about what parenthood means in the 21st century. That is a lactation consultant, another lady, shocker, Catherine Fisher. That's what she told Men's Health magazine. It doesn't raise interesting questions at all, John Hawkins writes. It just makes you go, why would any man want to do this? Oh, because it shows his empathy and understanding. If you want empathetic and understanding, become a lesbian. That's what John wrote. Oh, man. Part of what makes men different from women is that they are less empathetic, understanding, and nurturing. Stop trying to gender bend. Let women be women and men be men. Okay, so folks, we already mess with men's hormones enough as it is by putting all this soy and garbage in our food, which has been messing with testosterone levels. And we have seen a societal drop in the United States of America in testosterone levels among men. And my firm belief, because I've been telling you about this for nearly 15 years now, is that it is the encroachment of soy in our food supply. Soy is not good for men. Soy is rarely good for women. It is certainly not good for pregnant women. But this is something that messes with the natural testosterone of men. And so now what we're saying is, hey, instead of going and getting formula, let's go ahead and actually jack up the physiology of the dad. Let's mess him up, change his hormones around. Have they done any long-term studies on what the effect of his physiology is going to be? I doubt it. A cancer treatment, that'll take like 100 years of market research. But, oh, hey, we want to change a guy's, his hormones around and give him boobs. Cool, let's do that. Testing? Nah, don't need any testing. This is about empathy. This is going to end bad. This is going to end really bad. Warren, welcome to the program.
Casey, it is a conspiracy to wreck the American economy.
How's that?
By driving the productivity of men down to zero.
Okay, but businesses are going to save money because now they can pay all of these guys who take this stuff 80 cents on the dollar.
No. Casey, the average American man with breasts that he can fondle or grab or do whatever with at any time without getting slapped, without getting charged with sexual
This is going to be a problem.
harassment or anything, his hands will never not be occupied.
What if he's
it's a conspiracy to wreck our economy.
Okay, so what if he already has a D cup or a C cup, and then you take these hormones, which can give you up to a B cup? I mean, this could be interesting.
Yeah, it could be very interesting. I just, the men will not be able to concentrate on anything else. Their heads will always be occupied.
I can only imagine what is going to happen in the men's restroom with this, but I will leave that to people's imaginations. But, all right, buddy. Oh, hey, Warren, real quick. All new limited edition Jack Daniels Indian motorcycle is coming out in a month.
Is it on the Scout or the FTR?
They have showed no pictures. So they've just done the announcement that it's a limited edition Jack Daniels Indian motorcycle. So I don't know what bike it's going to be. Just letting you know.
Oh, all right. Last year's with the Scout Bobber was amazing.
It was beautiful. All right, man.
Yeah.
Take care, bud.
Okay.
All right. Bye. All right. MNC News Time is 4:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online. MastersHeatCool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. And online at 953mnc.com.
I'm John Zimney in the MNC News Center. Among our top stories this afternoon, the Indiana Senate passing a stripped-down hate crimes bill, sending the measure to the House.
The GOP-dominated Senate voted on the amended legislation that removed a list of specifically protected characteristics, including sexual orientation, gender identity, and race. The removal immediately drew criticism from Governor Eric Holcomb, civil rights activists, and business leaders. Holcomb says the amended bill does not get Indiana off the list of states without a biased crime law.
That's 95.3 MNC's Darren Wright reporting. And a settlement worth $500,000 has been reached to the alcohol withdrawal death of an inmate at the LaPorte County Jail.
The death was attributed to improper medical care, and on Wednesday, county commissioners approved a $200,000 payment from the liability claims fund that covers the balance of the settlement. The lawsuit stated that 33-year-old Rachel Barnes was arrested for OWI after driving her car into a pond near Michigan City in April of 2015. The report said the arresting officer took her to a LaPorte hospital for a drug and alcohol screen, then looked into the jail before receiving the test results and proper medical clearance. She told the jail officers she needed medications and did not receive them. She suffered a seizure and died in custody less than 24 hours after her arrest.
I'm just imagining guys just at like play date, just be like, I got you, Phil. Like, it's gonna happen, man.
That's
You'd be at a urinal, squirt it over the wall of the urinal. What the hell is that? I mean, come on. We're guys. We can't help but do that stuff. The important thing is now we literally don't need women for anything anymore.
That is a Adam Sandler skit waiting to happen.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, totally. Yeah, 100% I can see him doing that. 100%. I can see him just sitting on the couch and be like...
Have Kevin doing it. What is his last name? I never remember his last name.
Chinese President Xi Jinping at Mar-a-Lago soon. This is Fox News.
He played Doug Jenkins. He's in, like, all his Adam Sandler movies.
Kevin? I think I know who you're talking about, but I don't think his name's Kevin, is it?
I think it's Kevin.
Might be thinking of a different... It's a short guy, right?
No, the bigger fat guy.
Forecast is calm and
He
sunny
played
this
Doug in
afternoon
King
with
Queens.
temperatures in the low
Yes.
warm into the 40s will spike near 50 Saturday.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't remember his last name.
I
He's
don't...
like,
I don't know why
he's a
I'm...
great comedic actor.
Oh, he's hysterical. Kevin James. Yeah.
Kevin James, yeah.
Yeah, he is in a lot of Adam Sandler movies lately, isn't he?
Him and
I'm always thinking of that. You can do it. Rob Schneider's who.
Rob Schneider's one of them. The blonde guy who always has his hair
Mm-hmm.
down the middle. That guy.
Rob Schneider's funny, man.
They're all really good physical actors. So like, I could see like one of them
Totally.
doing that. That'd be.
They put Rob Schneider in dresses before.
Yeah, I can see that.
So,
I could
yeah.
skit in one of his movies. It'd be hilarious.
Mm-hmm.
I knew his name was Kevin. I can't remember his last name.
Yeah, Kevin James.
Don't let winter affect your golf game. Get 50% off Swing Suite rentals for Blackthorn Topgolf Swing Suite at My Deals Michiana. Plus, Blackthorn Topgolf Swing Suite offers more than just golf. Play virtual baseball, football, hockey, and zombie dodgeball with a group of family, friends, or coworkers. With a full bar, restaurant, and more, Blackthorn Topgolf Swing Suite is perfect for every occasion. Be part of the best deal in Michiana and get 50% off your Swing Suite rental at MyDealsMichiana.com. That's MyDealsMichiana.com.
The Fox Business Report, powered by Home Comfort Experts, plumbing, heating, and cooling. Keep your hard-working furnace running smooth with the tune-up today. Call 254-600.
Major averages closing in the red amid continuing hopes for a trade deal.
Now the men can have sore boots.
I would say that it's more likely.
That ain't no joke, though.
President Trump adding that both parties want to make a meaningful
Dude,
deal.
nips get chapped like a mug in breastfeeding.
4 years closing up 181 points. Nasdaq up 68. S&P 500 up 18. And shares of Wayfair rallying.
Your mom's asking if we're talking about
higher. The online home furnishings chain.
Grown Ups, what?
Like the movie.
And Wayfair says it was adding new customers.
The movie Grown Ups?
Because we were talking about all the actors who were in Grown Ups.
Well, Adam Sandler keeps the same circle of actors in almost all of his movies, so. Like, Rob Schneider is in like 90% of them. Kevin James is in a lot of them.
Yeah, Kevin and
I don't know who the
one
other
guy
guy is.
with the wispy mustache.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about, but I don't know his name.
And then,
around town.
yeah, but like he knows they do well, and they're funny.
Yeah,
and he always makes money off it.
They're familiar.
It's like the guy who he always uses Johnny Depp and his wife. Not Johnny Depp's wife.
Well, Johnny Depp's not married anymore. Yeah,
The guy
Amber Heard left.
So the guy he always works with.
Yeah.
His director and the director's wife and Johnny Depp.
Yeah.
They always work together. I'm like, I don't see why not.
If it works,
Johnny Depp and his wife work well together. They always do well.
That's it. If it works, it works.
Like, you know they can be consistent and they do their job well. Why not?
At your favorite Mexican restaurant, Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. Monterey's breakfast menu boasts the same high quality you'll get the rest of the day. Made fresh daily to keep you coming back week after week. Some new items mixed in alongside your favorite hot and cold breakfast beverages with 3 alcoholic options to choose from too. From burritos and skillets to combos and omelets, Monterey's new breakfast is something you need to experience. And the best part is you can dine in or order to go on your way to work and they'll make it the way you need it. Off McKinley Avenue, just past Division Street and online at MontereyMexican.com. Wake up early with Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill for breakfast.
We'll have that in
You
the
know which one you want.
What? Oh, the ISIS? I don't know.
Greg Slagle. I've been selling pre-owned vehicles at Black Monday Motors for 16 years.
Sore hairy nips.
Yup. This is time to bust out the exclusive naked Hillary Clinton photo that I have. Is it time to bust that out?
Let's get that out.
I am the only one who has it. I bring it out like twice a year.
Leave that in whatever helpful file.
It's awful. It is awful. I'm the only one that's got it, dude. Sometimes you just gotta take one for the team.
Using that money as a down payment lowers your monthly payment. You could be driving something newer or better than you are right now for a lower payment.
Black Monday Motors' values of honesty and integrity are evident to customers and employees alike. That's why so many of us have made orders so long and have customers that can make it.
Yup, we're going off the rails. It's Friday.
The only place right now at BlackMondayMotors.com.
I'm Dave Anderson.
Oh God, shut up. If we're gonna do it, at least do the Leo cover of it.
Find it.
Find it and have Leo Marocchioli or whatever. Heavy metal cover of it. It's good. It's actually good. It's listenable.
Give me what you wish for, Casey. You might come up.
Dude, I've got it in my Vibe playlist, man. Hey, good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-25-95-95.3. You are now 20 minutes away from open lines, and you can bring up any issue you want. If you don't like something I said, it's your perfect opportunity to go and ask me about it. And Guns and Everything Outdoor Spring Show, brought to you by Trap and Fool and Second Amendment Arms and Range, is happening on Saturday, March 2nd and Sunday, March 3rd at 9 a.m. both days at the Crown Event Center in New Carlisle. Admission's just $5. Kids under 12 are free. Well, 12 and under are free. And if you love the outdoors, this is the perfect event for you. They got fishing, hunting, trapping, archery, camping, all of that stuff for you with door prizes to boot. And if you would like to sell stuff out there, they do have vendor booths available. Contact Paul at secondamendmentarms.net to get information on that. All right, what do we have here? Construction has begun on the 5th border wall project of Donald Trump's presidency, replacing up to 14 miles of barrier in San Diego. Now, this, again, is with money that already existed that he was able to free up. The U.S. Customs and Border Protection said Tuesday that the first panels are in place to replace a steel mesh fence with steel ballards up to 30 feet high. SLSCO Ltd. of Galveston, Texas, was awarded the $101 million contract back in December. It is the second layer of barrier in San Diego. Working on replacing the first layer is nearly complete, which is also 14 miles long and made of steel ballards up to 30 feet high. We've been keeping you apprised of that project. It looks much better and it works much better than the old one. And the old one actually reduced crime dramatically. Construction began 3 days after Trump declared a national emergency to build his proposed border wall with Mexico. Lawsuits have been filed over the emergency declaration. All of that nonsense they'll lose in court. They'll win for a little bit. It'll get to the Supreme Court, and then the Trump administration will win because, again, he has the authority to do it. It doesn't matter how much you whine and cry about it. That's not going to go away. All right, 574-25-95-95-3, 25-95-953. We have just learned that the father of the ISIS bride, we were talking about her case yesterday, has filed a lawsuit. Has actually filed a lawsuit trying to force the Trump administration to acknowledge that she is a citizen and to allow her to enter into the United States. The U.S. has maintained that she is not a citizen because her parents were here on a diplomatic mission, and that doesn't apply. And there's something that people don't like talking about. I brought this up with the al-Awlaki killing. Al-Awlaki is an American citizen, joined Al-Qaeda, became a active participant against the United States. The U.S. can revoke your citizenship, okay? That can happen. Doesn't matter if you're a natural-born citizen or not. You can have that revoked. So the father of Alabama woman who joined ISIS is suing the Trump administration over her U.S. citizenship and seeking her return. Ahmed Ali Muthana, a Protestant name, filed a lawsuit on Thursday in federal court in Washington, D.C. to prevent what he calls an unlawful attempt by the United States to rescind his daughter's citizenship. And, of course, it's not unlawful, but I digress. Hoda Muthana, now 24, was a college student when she traveled to Syria more than 4 years ago to join ISIS, eventually marrying 3 fighters and calling for the killing of Americans on Twitter. So she's got a Twitter on there, but a coworker who Facebook banned a coworker yesterday. I won't say who. It was hysterical. Anyway, they wanted like government identification and name badges and things like that. So I'm not making it up. It was great. So anyway, so she eventually married 3 fighters, called for the killing of Americans on Twitter. In a series of interviews this week in a sprawling camp in northern Syria with her infant son, she expressed deep remorse. President Donald Trump tweeted on Wednesday that he directed the Secretary of State, Mike Pompeo, not to allow her back into the country. Pompeo declared the same day in a statement that she's not even a U.S. citizen and will not be admitted into the U.S.
She does not have any legal basis, no valid U.S. passport, no right to a passport, nor any visa to travel to the United States. Speaking on NBC Thursday, Pompeo confirmed the administration's position that she was not a citizen because of her father's diplomatic status when she was born. Now, the lawsuit filed by her father seeks injunctive relief preventing the United States government from unconstitutionally robbing her and her son of their rights as U.S. citizens, according to court documents. He is requesting the court, quote, find the U.S. government has an obligation to assist in the return of its citizens from areas of armed conflict, which is not something that exists. The lawsuit was also filed against Trump, Pompeo, and Attorney General William Barr, who has been in office, 3 days? If she... Sorry, coughing. A happy confirmation there, Mr. Barr. Oh, I'm being sued? Great. If she returns to the United States, she's prepared and willing to surrender any charges the United States Justice Department finds appropriate and necessary, according to the lawsuit. She grew up in Hoover, Alabama, in a Yemeni household that she called ultra strict in interviews with The Guardian, The New York Times, and ABC News from the Al Hol refugee camp this week. She described how she had used money from her parents meant for tuition at the University of Alabama at Birmingham to pay for a flight to Istanbul, and that was late 2014. After being smuggled into ISIS-controlled territory, she tweeted a photo of an American passport with the caption, bonfire soon, no need for these anymore. So the lawsuit is on, ladies and gentlemen. This is going to be a good one, too. All right, we are 14 minutes away from open lines. Got more coming up. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Casey Hendrickson.
News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
Okay. Good for you. Should play it. Bumper music. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but it's Leo. Leo covering Friday. Leo Marocchioli or whatever his name is, man, he's the best, dude. He heavy metal covers all sorts of songs, and he's awesome. And his production value in his videos are amazing. The Wheels on the Bus. Harper loved the heavy metal Wheels on the Bus when she was like 1.
Okay. I think there's a. Did this guy do Toto?
Yep.
Did he do Africa?
He has the best version of Africa that has ever been done.
That's what I do remember. I didn't remember his name, but I remember Africa.
His version of Africa and his version of Feel Good Inc. are like two of the best songs I've ever heard. All right, so it's just trade then. I wasn't sure. I just wanted to make sure.
Yeah, I looked in the system and I saw something that I thought could be the fee. And so I texted Tim and he said, no, it's just the food.
Okay.
Oh, that reminds me. Z-Bar.
Z-Bar!
Do that.
Z-Bar.
You don't have to turn on that red light.
Michiana's news channel. Would like to talk to Casey.
I wrote a new spot for Z-Bar.
Sweet.
And I don't know if everybody's going to get the joke.
Yeah, we can talk about it.
All right. Can I get my name? I don't know if everybody's going to get the joke. So I'll let you hear it if he approves it. No problem.
What? You can't tease me with a joke and then walk away.
No, I use the phrase. It's Z-Bar. Starts with a Z, ends with a Bart. Like, who the hell are you, man? Like an old Bart Simpson.
Funny.
So I don't know if anybody's even going to get the joke. There will be a handful of us that are old enough to remember.
Yeah, but it's been on for like 31 years. It just got renewed for another season. People are pissed. Like, it's still on. It's been garbage for like 20 years.
Yeah, it has been.
And it went from the greatest show on TV to, oh my God, shut up already. Like, you've got to stop.
It's like,
so.
But they're literally dealing with a whole new generation of writers. Like, new writers, new ideas.
Yeah, but it's still like, it's still.
People just want it. They don't do what South Park does, and they can't do what South Park does. You know, and so it's like,
last several years.
if you're not going to just address crap that's in the news right now, having a show with that many characters for that long is going to be rough.
Yeah.
That's a lot of the same jokes over and over and over again, trying to make them fresh.
I feel like one of the last times I saw it was when W was off, and there was
You're probably right.
Some
Yeah.
awkward episode where no, I'm thinking of Family Guy, because Family Guy was talking about, remember when Barbara Bush killed somebody? Look it up. She killed somebody, and it was this really weird.
That was Family Guy.
It was just
But see,
really awkward.
Family Guy was a 2-season show that never went away, and they tried canceling it.
Well, it did get canceled.
And twice,
Yeah,
and
it
it
came
kept
back.
coming back.
Yeah.
And it's like, guys, it's done. Like, it had 2 really good seasons of good comedy, and then it's trash.
And then it jumped the shark, and it was
It's total trash. But yeah,
You have a toothache, have the
Some of them are
dentist in years, and money is tight. You don't want to be
my wife watches it to go to sleep. Family Guy is her sleep medicine.
I watch it with short.
Yeah, American Dad's a way better show.
Yeah. I never got into that one either.
It's he's making fun of radical Americanism, but you root for Stan all the time. You know.
They do a really good job.
The one that
Very good.
The one that I pull up to go to sleep. You remember that show Numbers?
Yes.
Oh, that?
It's a good
Put
show.
you to sleep.
It's a good show, but there's just something about it.
I watched the first season, never kept watching it. Did they have more than one? I think there was like 2 or 3 seasons or something, right?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, I like the concept of it, but I'm with
It's
you.
very interesting, but you're like, this doesn't.
Well, it
Right.
became-
It's like a 1-season show.
It became unbelievable. Let's be real. Like, how coincidental is it that you?
No, it's just math, David.
No, this
It's
new
just numbers.
scenario just happens to fit with this other thing. That, like, it's just
math.
week after week.
Math is everywhere. That's like the whole point of the concept.
The best part of American Dad is the alien dude. Yeah.
Psych's good. It's just like,
My mom likes Psych, and I can't. I'm just like, she likes Monk. I can see why people like Monk, but again, I'm just like,
I just don't.
Nope.
I just don't watch any TV anymore. So
It's rough. It's rough. So the CEO of one of the big Hollywood companies finally said, Netflix has beat us. Like, we're done. And, of course, Netflix is trying to win awards because Netflix has more people watching their platforms, but they're not being given any awards, which they think is a bias thing. Because Netflix has some of the best damn shows that have ever been made.
they have a really good, strong animation.
Yeah. Their original content is phenomenal.
they'll green like literally anything.
Well, they will, but, Hulu wins awards. Leo, covering Friday. This guy is so great, man. He is so great. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. That is 2595-953. You are less than 10 minutes away from open lines. We're talking about the ISIS bride. She had 3 husbands. I think they're all dead, but I don't know. So what is that? A 3-to-1 kill ratio for the Americans? Yeah, buddy. Greg, welcome to the program.
Hey, Casey, thanks for taking my call.
You bet.
Hey, I've just been listening to this whole ISIS, lady from Alabama, and I just think it's crazy on so many levels. But I'm thinking to myself, the media, this innocent person, this Alabama girl, if you will.
Mm-hmm.
But my question is, what if the father wins the lawsuit or whatever, and she's able to come back? I mean, have we heard anything from Alabama residents? Is she really wanting to come back to Alabama where, there's probably some diehard American...
Oh, she'll be taken into custody right away, dude. Yeah. So I think the United States at this point is like, you're not coming back. And then if she does come back, they're going to have to charge her with crimes. Now, the parents have asked if she does do that, the parents have asked to take her baby and raise the baby away from her. But at this point, the parents are trying to keep her from going to Yemen because Yemen's in the middle of a civil war and the jihadists are, getting slaughtered right now by Saudi Arabia and loyalist troops. So
they don't want her to go there because Saudi Arabia is not going to treat her anywhere near as humanely as we would. So that's it. And so her other alternative is to go in with the radicals in Yemen, which her parents don't want her to do. So this is, I can, from the perspective of the dad, I guess I get it. He's trying to save his kid's life.
Right.
But there's no merit here.
With her coming back, my concern then, it's a no-win situation for the Trump administration.
Sure.
Because, God willingly, but, if something were to happen to her, if she's in the United States, then it's going to be a hate crime because of Trump.
I'm sure they'll try. Yeah, I'm sure they'll try and make it that way. Oh, she's apologized, that sort of stuff. But
anyways, I was just wondering, have we heard about anything from the Alabama?
Yeah, she'll face charges. I don't know anything about Alabama residents. I doubt she'd ever make it there. She'll probably land in New York or something like that, and they'll take her into custody there. That's where the federal courts are, and that's where they would process her. That would be my guess.
All right. Well, again, thank you for taking my call, sir.
You bet. You take care.
All right.
All righty. So her father is represented by attorneys from the Constitutional Law Center for Muslims in America, which released a statement on Thursday that reads: the center has taken Mr. Mathana as a client because of the important constitutional issues involved, which have wide-ranging impact far beyond Ms. Mathana and her son. Citizenship is a core right under the Constitution. Once recognized, should not be able to be unilaterally revoked by a tweet, no matter how egregious the intervening conduct may be. Of course, it wouldn't be revoked by a tweet. It's revoked by her joining the enemy. At issue in the case is the legal status of her father, a Yemeni diplomat, when she was born. The issue is complicated by a series of conflicting dates and information and could be ripe for judicial review. So she was born in New Jersey in 1994, according to her birth certificate, which was provided to CNN. Months before her birth, her father stepped down from a post at his country's mission to the United Nations in New York, relinquishing his diplomatic immunity, but maintaining a diplomatic visa, which enabled him to stay in the country with his family legally, according to Charles Swift, the director of the Constitutional Law Center for Muslims. So what they're saying is because he wasn't an active diplomat at the time, her being born in the United States then granted her citizenship because he wasn't under diplomatic status, even though he was only legally in the U.S. because of a diplomatic passport. The person born in the United States is entitled to citizenship by virtue of the 14th Amendment, often described as right of birthright citizenship. I've covered that extensively. That's not what it means. But according to the lawsuit, the State Department claimed in a 2016 letter sent to Mathana and her parents' residence that officials in the U.S. mission to the UN had not been officially notified of the father's termination from his diplomatic post until February of 1995 after her birth, making her, therefore, not a United States citizen pursuant to the 14th Amendment of the Constitution. So in 2016, the U.S. government made them all clearly aware she's not an American citizen because he was only allowed to be in the United States because of his diplomatic visa, but he had resigned his post. And therefore, he was actually in the country illegally, but it still was because of a diplomatic mission. In a letter shared to CNN by the representatives of the father, the State Department official in 2004 acknowledged the date range of her father's diplomatic employment, ending months before her birth. The letter came as part of the application process for her passport, where the U.S. government first grappled with the question of her citizenship, and in the end, she was issued a passport. All of these issues played out in 2004, and they gave her a passport, they said. But again, I understand their positioning. They're saying, well, they were trying to decide whether or not she was a citizen back in 2004, and ultimately they gave her a passport, decided she was. Well, then she went off and joined ISIS. And I got news for you. Your citizenship can be revoked. I talked about this with the al-Awlaki killing, because a lot of people were saying, oh, Obama's just running around droning Americans to death. First of all, no, he was a terrorist. You can voluntarily relinquish your citizenship, and you don't have to go and fill out a bunch of documents to really have it be official. So she basically, but what the U.S. government is arguing is she relinquished her citizenship and she joined the enemy. So it's going to be an interesting case nonetheless. But this 14th Amendment birthright citizenship stuff is going to have to be addressed constitutionally in the Supreme Court, and it has not been. since we had an immigration authority in the U.S. So it is time that it actually does happen, where we can address it once and for all and get this thing taken care of. All right, 574-2595, 95.3. Open lines coming up next right here on 95.3 MNC. We'll take your phone calls on any issue you want. Coming up in just a couple of minutes.
WTRC FM and HD1. Niles, South Bend, Elk.
Your top stories right now. A criminal case years in the making. Police today, Fox News, an arrest warrant issued for Grammy winner R. Kelly. Earlier today, Robert Kelly.
It's not years, it's decades in the making.
Decades or years?
Lots of years, though. But if you say decades, it's more impactful. Like 1995 was like the first time that we heard that he was a friggin' sicko.
Kelly has long denied. Attorney Michael Avenatti represents several of his accusers.
He's been deeply involved in this, investigating R. Kelly for some months, and just last week, he said he had handed over to prosecutors a VHS tape, and on that VHS tape, according to Michael Avenatti, very clear pictures of R. Kelly having sex with a woman whom both he and the woman herself identified.
Hell yes, Leo. Why doesn't she just fly into Mexico and then cross the border? She could. It would be easier than this. All right, we'll be right back. Oh, God. Oh. If I don't get open line phone calls today, I'm shocked. The amount of people who contacted me this week.
The answer to that is yes. The sting was part of a larger sex trafficking investigation. Kraft is not named in that, and a spokesman denies that the Patriots owner engaged in any illegal activity. The NFL says it's monitoring developments. The California parents accused of torturing 12 of their 13 children changed their plea to guilty. Riverside County DA Mike Hestrin says it's one of the worst child abuse cases he's ever seen, but that the children have hope.
They have a zest for life and huge smiles.
He says he's optimistic for them about their future. This is Fox News.
This is Michiana's breaking news and weather station. Michiana's news channel on 95.3 FM, the 95.3 MNC skill on Alexa, and 95.3MNC.com.
I'm John Zimmerman, the MNC News Center. How a top story, all sorts of weather set to hit us this weekend. And it starts with a brief period of freezing rain tomorrow morning.
If you had plans on getting up early and traveling, probably hold off until 9. At some temperatures are expected to warm up above freezing.
ABC 57 meteorologist Emily Kennedy says once that happens, it'll just be rain for the rest of the day. Temps will climb as well.
About 11 o'clock at night to midnight, we top out right around 50. We will see scattered rain showers throughout the day. Could have a couple pockets of heavy rain, especially during the evening hours, as well as hearing a couple rumbles of thunder. So a very spring-like system moving through.
The high wind watch is in effect for Sunday. Sustained winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour with frequent gusts of 45 to 50, even 60 miles per hour are possible. For breaking weather alerts, direct to your cell phone. Text the word weather to 45364. Well, the pilot who died when a small plane crashed into a farm field in Goshen has been identified. Authorities say 55-year-old Neil Myers of Middlebury was doing practice approaches to the Goshen airport beforehand. The FAA says the Piper PA-32 he was flying crashed a mile away from the airport. The plane nosedived, striking down power lines in the process. We have the latest details on that story, plus updated information on the Indiana State Police trooper who prosecutors say was shot by his son at their Granger home on our website right now, 953MNC.com. And the Elkhart County Prosecutor's Office does not plan to pursue criminal charges in an incident involving 3 police officers when the sound of gunfire near US 33 and County Road 17 back in December because of what they call a lack of evidence and a lack of an appropriate investigation.
The case involved Goshen police officer Brody Brown, who is driving the
In
vehicle.
that weird position where I'm happy it's the weekend, but I want it to be Monday. Because my inspection is Monday at my house. So I'm in that weird, I actually want Monday to come. How old do you think I am? 80.
An internal investigation to determine if any department policies were violated as a result of the incident.
incident. Goshen's police chief will talk about results into an internal investigation into Calv and Brown on Monday.
That's 95.3 MNC's Brooklyn Beatty reporting.
Weather served to you by the Prime Table. Too busy to
No, it's not ready to roll tomorrow.
a great kids menu with free ice.
I do want to try and start it up tomorrow now that everything's kind of warming up and stuff, though.
Heating specialist first warning forecast.
Forecast is calm and sunny this afternoon with temperatures.
I'm going to redo my chat right now so we don't get hit with it. In the middle of the segment.
Widespread rain and it gets windy Sunday. Sunday, wind gusts topping 50 miles per hour. In the ABC 57 for
I was sent the text alert on that, and I can't on the wind, and now I can't find it in my phone. It's really weird because I know that I got it.
It's even easier to plan your week with radio's only
I got it.
forecast at 16 and 46 mornings and afternoons. News Talk 95.3, your breaking news and weather station.
News powered by Parkwood Auto Spa in South Bend on Ireland
I
Road.
will
and
watch
Mishawaka
until
on
10 p.m. EST.
Savings are available with new unlimited monthly car wash packages starting at $15.95.
Winter is the worst for your vehicle. While you're warm and toasty driving down the road,
Can't you
the
just
salt,
search it?
sludge, and snow is covering your car.
Search
Building up ice
4,
blocks
5,
in your
3, 6,
wheel
4.
well. Don't make winter any worse than it is. Make regular visits to one of the finest exterior auto washes in Parkwood Auto Spa.
To do what?
To search your messages for like keywords and stuff.
Oh, yeah, you can. I was just looking at their alerts, but I've got a crash from yesterday. Yesterday was the last thing that shows up, but I know for a fact they sent it to me, so I'm trying to figure out like where it disappeared to. It's really weird.
Both of their locations in South Bend and Mishawaka. See ParkwoodAutoSpa.com for more details. Parkwood Auto Spa. Come as you are. Stay in your car.
36 days. That's how long
Still
it takes
nobody
the average company to find their next hire.
So far, we haven't
I've got like normal alerts, just not the MNC alerts. Very strange. But I know they sent it because I got the notification earlier.
And Glassdoor hires are committed. They're 30% more likely to stay with your business longer. Go to glassdoor.com/hire. Glassdoor. Find the right
Glass doors are not advisable; they break.
Everything breaks.
Yes, but glass doors are very fragile.
Before attacking.
Very
That's
fragile.
not a copperhead. That's the Sullivan's RV freshwater.
Plus, people can see through your door.
Which is
And that's like bad and stuff.
making for a very different kind of attack.
Yes. They're so ugly.
One that arrives just in time for taco
You gotta
night.
keep them clean.
It's wild up there. When it gets too wild, Progressive has your RV covered. Quote today at progressive.com. Progressive Casualty Insurance Company and Affiliates.
Talk radio that talks not at you. Casey Hendrickson, News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel.
He was betrayed by the system, Casey.
Huh?
He was betrayed by the system.
Oh, someone on MSNBC said that the Chicago PD set him up. They entrapped him. I'm not making it up. Like, what in the hell? And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Phone number 574-2595-95.3. That is 2595-953. You think I'm joking? All right. So I was just telling Joe because we're watching the news up there, and it's Smollett is claiming that he was betrayed by the system because he's still maintaining his innocence in spite of the fact that we have him writing a
personal check.
A personal check, $3,500. and the guys, the two brothers who are not Nigerian, by the way, the two brothers, they're on camera buying all of the stuff. And so at a bare minimum, he was lying about it being two white dudes. Okay. So at a bare minimum, he's lying about that. And I was just telling Joe, I was like, no, there's somebody on MSNBC that basically said that the cops had entrapped him. And so he had said something, but I had my headphones on
Over at MSNBC, Zach Stafford, editor-in-chief for the LGBTQ magazine The Advocate, went so far as to accuse Trump-loving cops in the Chicago PD of rigging the investigation in order to deal maximum damage to the disgraced actor. Okay, this is what I deal with on a daily basis, okay? This is what I deal with. And it's open lines, by the way. You can call about anything you want right now if you would like to talk about this or any other topic. Chicago has a deep history of openly lying to its citizens, they said. There's some truth to that, okay? There's some truth. Chicago does. Usually leftist lies, but okay. Let's not forget who's been in control of the city for how long now? So anyway, according to Stafford, the Chicago PD intentionally leaked information pertaining to the investigation in order to destroy Smollett, alleging that the police called it a racist and homophobic attack, even though it initially understood Smollett to be lying. Stafford claims that this was all just a part of the broader setup. No, you idiot. This is the police. There were police that were skeptical from the day that the attack was reported, okay? Yes, some of them absolutely leaked to the reporter from ABC 7 News. Again, we all have sources in law enforcement. I've told you earlier, I have information about the mayoral candidate in South Bend who stole his own car back, but I can't tell you the information yet. You'll get a dose of new stuff next week, okay? But I can't tell you now. We all have sources, right? So the sources that were going to the ABC 7 reporter, they were saying, because the media was just full, flat out, this was Trump supporters, this is a white supremacist hate crime, this is a homophobic hate crime. They were all over that. Nobody was questioning it in traditional media. Not one person in traditional media was questioning it. And so you had some cops leak it out and go, hey, look, there's some problems with this, just so you know. And the reason that they did that, even though they're violating department policy by doing it, the reason they did that was to temper the coverage a little bit so that it wasn't a runaway train anymore. And the whole idea was to go, hey, there's some issues. But the Chicago PD, which this guy is claiming was a part of the entrapment in the setup, they were still treating him as a victim because he came forward and he filed a report. So they have to treat him as a victim until the investigation shows that they were not a victim. So yeah, Chicago PD still absolutely publicly called him a victim and investigated the crime as if he were a victim. That is their job. It's not a conspiracy against him. It's their job. If he didn't want to be investigated, he shouldn't have called the cops. But then he wouldn't have had his attention. And you can't just post this stuff now, because if you post the stuff, it gets picked up by the news, it'll get picked up by all the entertainment things, and then the police are going to come knocking anyway. Personally, it was incredibly shocking on day one to see the police department call it a racist and homophobic attack. Well, that's what he alleged. Okay, that came from him. That didn't come from anybody else. That came from him. They exclusively said that. He said, yes, because the victim said it. Let's see. As someone that has been investigating these for years in Chicago, that was really unprecedented before. No, it's not. Stafford went on to say that the Chicago PD essentially played into the victim narrative against Smollett in order to spring a trap on him. Now, what trap did they spring? I'm just going to sit here. What trap did the Chicago PD spring on Jussie Smollett? What trap did they spring on him? The truth? Is the truth a trap? Is that what it is? A lot of the time, people in the background were worried that they were leaning into this victim's part of the story because they didn't believe him and they wanted to use it against him at the end when they were able to prove that he was lying, Stafford continued. They investigated this because he went to the police and he filed a report as a victim. So they investigated it as if he were a victim until evidence led them to the suspects. And then they found the suspects and they brought the suspects in, and the suspect says, actually, he paid us $3,500. And the police said, can you prove it? And they go, yeah, here's the check. Where did you buy this stuff? We bought it at this store. So then they went to that store and they got the surveillance footage. So they treated Jussie Smollett as a victim until they had the assailants in custody, and the assailants flipped on him. So it's not even circling of wagons. It's just flat out gymnastics that people are trying to do to defend this guy and justify this type of behavior. But it is the type of stuff that we see in politics all the time. It's the type of stuff that we see in social justice worrying. Sorry, I'm having trouble saying that word because of my throat. All the time. It's a hard word to say anyway, but especially when you're trying not to cough. But people, we talk about this quite a bit. People know that the sky is blue. And if we're talking about tribalism and confirmation bias, somebody will say the sky is red, period. And it doesn't matter how many pictures of the sky you show them, they will say it's red. And you can't convince that person that the sky really is the color that it is. You've got Cory Booker out there with his silly lynching legislation because he called it a modern day lynching. Kamala Harris used the exact same phraseology. You go out there. He's like, we need to have anti-lynching legislation. Seems to me that lynching's illegal already. Joe, am I wrong about that? Stringing somebody up from a tree and killing him, that's still illegal, right? And since most states have hate crimes legislation, you're going to get hit with an additional hate crime on that, right? Yeah. Okay. Just saying, but hey, let's go ahead and pass a law that makes it seem like lynching is not illegal in the U.S. Another example of this is in Indiana. So Indiana's got this bias bill. Now, the bias bill wasn't stripped of protections for people. It actually expanded protections for people. So the amendment, it took out the specific protected classes, race, gender, sexual orientation, that sort of thing. So it took that language out and made it any case of bias and left it at the judge's discretion to apply the additional sentencing to any case of bias if the judge believed that there was an actual incidence of bias. That was it. So what does Pete Buttigieg and a bunch of people in the community do? They run around and they say that it is a disgrace. The governor did this too. It is a disgrace. Indiana won't have any hate crimes bills or anything like that. It's not true. That's not what the amendment does to this bill in any way, shape, or form. And frankly, wouldn't we want a bill that is more expansive in protecting bias if we're really that concerned about bias? And I know that many of you are not, and that hate crimes are fairly stupid. But it's, it is what it is. It's one of those things. So people will just run around and they will go ahead and believe what they want to believe. It doesn't matter how much you're showing something else. Why can't people just go on? It's like CNN running around and going, we knew from the very beginning that this was suspicious. No, you didn't. You never reported that there was problems with his accusations. You reported that he was the victim of a hate crime. And then you spent hours upon hours for several weeks attacking Trump supporters and painting this country as a racist, homophobic country. That's what you did. So nobody on CNN said, hold up, time out. You don't see any problems with this? Nobody at CNN did. The only time they did was after it was already proven that he lied to everybody. How about you just come on and you go, I admitted I was wrong yesterday, right? Woman called about the age thing and birth rate. Said, okay, you know how easy and effortless that was? Oh, you're right. Totally forgot about that. Whoa, it's really easy. If you're CNN, if you're any of these other reporters, if you're this LGBT, the advocate representative, all you have to do is go, we jumped to conclusions. It was such a heinous accusation. We got too emotional about it. We forgot our journalistic standards. It won't happen again. We're sorry. That's it. That's it. The problem is it will happen again because it happened with Covington and it happened with countless other cases before it. And it will happen with countless other cases going forward because they won't learn their lesson because it's all about the narrative. Open lines and all of your phone calls with open lines coming up on 95.3 MNC.
KC Hendrickson.
Okay, what does that say?
The federal charges for him mailing himself the powder or whatever.
Yeah, what are they asking about it?
Like if you would touch base on that.
Okay.
Yeah, that wasn't very clear.
very active weather weekend. Sunday starts around 32 as clouds increase and temperatures rise into the 40s by the afternoon. Rain is likely Saturday afternoon through Saturday night. The rain can be heavy at times, and temperatures spike to near 50. That's right at midnight. Then they crash.
They can spike to near 50. Casey, did you see the benchmark knives fiasco? Yes, I talked about it yesterday. Oh my God, people.
Extremely windy. Temperatures keep falling into Monday. Monday, partly cloudy with a high of 28. Tuesday, chance of snow showers, high of 32. More the same on Wednesday. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs.
The $3,500 was for training. One of them was his personal trainer. That's just not what they say.
15 minutes on air on those brutal winter mornings. Plus, the list is updated instantly online at 953mnc.com. Powered by First Resources.
You should call it social justice warfare. It'll make it easier to say. Yeah, true.
Turn to us and stay connected. Weather, traffic, school delays, and closings. From News Talk 95.3, Louisiana's news channel. Your breaking news and weather station. Now, it's time for the taste of craft beer. Chris's Craft Corner with Chris Turnbull.
Welcome to Chris's Craft Corner. Let's have a beer. Today, we've got a fun one. We're going to talk about Saugatuck Brewing Company. One thing that we know about them is they know how to make a stout. They just came out with a new one, a blueberry maple stout. I do not have a bigger pet peeve with craft beer than when something is called something, for example, blueberry maple stout, and I cannot identify all of the things in the title. This beer lives up to everything you could want from having breakfast any time of the day. When you first drink it, you're not getting any of the chocolatey malt flavor. It is all coffee malt, all at the front of your palate. Just boom, like a...
Yep, talked about Robert Kraft already, too. Wow. I feel like people have really missed the show this week. Not hating. It's just that, like, today I've had 5 or 6 people. How come you haven't talked about this? And it's stuff that I talked about, like, yesterday or earlier in the show. So.
Syrup that's naturally, which is just enough sweetness, and this is all kind of balanced out with stronger yeast that gives it.
Why is Full Metal Jacket in my head now? Because it is the most amazing movie ever. That's why.
It's a lot of fun to drink. So you look at this packaging and you see a big lumberjack who's got a mug of beer and a plate full of blueberry pancakes. Hopefully it'll be around for a long time. Places like Saugatuck, these are small local craft brewers who have a hard enough time keeping up with just their regular staples. So when they come out with something like this, they're going to do their best to keep it around for a long time. But make sure it's coffee and pancakes. It's wonderful.
Yeah. I have a sleepover tonight with my daughter's best friend.
That's when your wife and your daughter's best friend.
Because I'm more fun.
Necessary when you retire. Surveys show that most American adults get a gap in understanding income tax basics, and while investors are concerned about
It's our turn for the sleepover. So means we'll have the girls up at like midnight, 1 in the morning, sneaking candy. We always catch the girls in the middle of the night, getting up, sneaking candy. And of course they're giggling because they're, 6 and 7 years old. We're gonna go get the candy. Mom and Dad won't know about it. Go back to bed. Oh no. Nope, no sleep for me this weekend. That ain't happening.
Advisory services may be offered through Howard Bailey Securities LLC, a registered investment advisor. Howard Bailey Financial does not offer legal or tax advice. Please consult the appropriate professional regarding your individual circumstance.
Well, luckily they're not like into the ghost story bit yet. They do like doing the movie and kind of relaxing on the floor until somebody passes out. They like doing that.
Breakfast is now served 7 a.m. to 2 p.m. daily at your favorite Mexican restaurant, Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. Monterey's breakfast menu boasts the same high quality you'll get the rest of the day. They're fresh daily to keep you week. Try Mexican and American breakfast classics with some new items mixed in alongside your favorite hot and cold breakfast beverages with 3 alcoholic options to choose from too. From burritos and skillets to combos and omelets, Monterey's new breakfast is something you need to experience. And the best part is you can dine in or order to go on your way to work, and they'll make it the way you need it. Off McKinley Avenue, just past Division Street, and online at MontereyMexican.com. Wake up early with Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill for breakfast. You know it's what you want.
Tax time is next time. Only an R&B car company. That means you'll get $2,500 minimum for your trade-in, or we'll match your tax check up to $2,500. Over 600 vehicles to choose from, and new vehicles arriving daily. Come experience why we are where you ought to be. To take a test drive today. Tax time is match time, and it's happening now. Only an R&B car company in South Bend, Warsaw, and Columbia, where you'll get $2,500 minimum for your trade, or we'll match your tax check up to $2,500. Shop
$1 billion would change my life. He didn't say the minimum amount to change my life, because that would be like $10. That would change my life, but
Yeah.
he asked for a number, man. I went with it. And good
Afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. Don't forget, high wind watch in effect from Sunday 7 a.m. until Sunday 10 p.m., according to the National Weather Service. So just be on the lookout for some high wind and stuff like that, and trees flying everywhere under your house and on your person if you're outside. So just be careful. I do want to tell you about Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill. So this is my Monterey day. Now, I usually get the steak and shrimp dinner. Now, I get it a little different just because I like it with just the steak, just the shrimp, and then the cheese sauce on it is so good. But you can get the standard steak and shrimp dinner. But today's Friday. So the dinner special on Friday is the Tres Amigos for just $10.99. That is a phenomenal dish. We featured it on the show a couple of times. And pitchers of margaritas are just $12.99. A whole pitcher, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill is authentic Mexican food made from scratch every single day. Family-owned restaurant. They're redoing their website. They've got some new elements on the website for you to go check out. They also do catering and fundraising events, that sort of stuff. So you can go and check all of that stuff out at MontereyMexican.com. And don't forget to let them know that I sent you in there. And check out their breakfast. They now serve breakfast starting at 7 a.m. every single day now. Monterey Mexican Bar and Grill on McKinley and Division in Mishawaka. All right, so a couple of text messages floating in here. Let's see. Oh, hey. Totally unrelated. Just got this text. Missed the remote last week. Got Monterey breakfast today. Breakfast burrito was good stuff. Darn right it is. What do we have here? Casey, you forgot that Webster took the word apologize out of the dictionary years ago. You should call it social justice warfare. Easier to say. If a straight white male had a car accident with one of these protected classes, could the victim play the hate crime card? Only if they can show that there was an intent to cause the accident. And so, I mean, the hate crime thing is not supposed to be automatic. The hate crime thing is supposed to be if you can show that somebody targeted somebody because of their protected class, then the hate crimes should kick in. The Indiana bill would allow a judge to look at it beyond the typical protected classes. So it could very well be something that is an ageist sort of a thing. It could be a political sort of a thing. And the judge could look at that and apply the additional sentencing. See, we don't need anti-lynching legislation. We need anti-stupid legislation, yes. Casey, did you see the Benchmade knives fiasco? Yeah, we covered it yesterday. They asked, are they anti-gun or just taking work? Now, there's a lot of people wanting me to talk about this because I'm a knife manufacturer. And it's open line, so you can call about anything you want. I'm just going through some of the text questions that I have. So the Benchmade knife thing, some people were upset with me because I wasn't as angry about it as they wanted me to be. And I did see some posts yesterday that Benchmade was breaking the law with how they were destroying these guns. They're not. Okay. There's a big difference between an individual, sawing off barrels and illegally shortening a gun with the intent to destroy, versus somebody who's contracted by a government agency to destroy something that is mandated to be destroyed by the law. So there's a huge difference there. So no, Benchmade didn't break any laws. Again, the Oregon City Police Department is mandated under the law of that state to destroy these weapons. They're not allowed to redistribute them. They're not allowed to sell them. They're not allowed to hand them over to somebody. You know, they're not allowed to give them away to anybody in a functioning capacity. The law mandates they be destroyed. They're no longer needed as evidence in cases. And so now it's time to destroy them and that sort of thing. Now, do I wish there were a capacity for them to be able to get them distributed and sold again? Yeah, sure I do. But that's not what the law says. Now, I disagree with that law, but in Oregon, that's the law. So they have to destroy them. So the police said, all right, we already have a contract with Benchmade. Benchmade has the equipment to deal with this in the appropriate way. Why not just give it to Benchmade? And Benchmade did. And then the Oregon City Police Department gave Benchmade a shout out for helping them do this. And then everybody kind of lost their minds on it. Like I said, I can understand the optics of it. And I'm sure that Benchmade is out there saying, really wish you guys hadn't tagged us in that post. But at the same time, Benchmade they're not being anti-gun. They're not out there helping the police seize people's private property and then destroy it and that sort of stuff. I mean, this is stuff that was used in crimes, was used as evidence. Those cases are now closed and they don't store it forever. They have to get rid of it. And the law mandates that they get rid of it by destroying it. And so Benchmade was contracted to do that. Benchmade has the equipment to do it. Benchmade has the knowledge to do it. You know, the police department doesn't. So why not have one of the contractors with the department handle it in a safe and appropriate way to meet the mandates of the law, whether or not we think the law is silly, and I do think the law is silly. But nonetheless, I don't have any animus towards Benchmade for doing that. Any issues I have with Benchmade as a company are totally unrelated to that. All right, MNC News Time is 5:31. Again, it is open lines. You can call about anything you want. Be happy to take your phone calls coming up in just a couple of minutes after the news. It's 5:31. Time to check out Masters Heating and Air Conditioning online at mastersheatcool.com. Masters gets there faster.
This is Michiana's
Sunday. Sustained winds of 30 to 40 miles per hour with frequent gusts of 45 to 60 are possible.
Upwards of 50, could even be over 50 miles per hour at times during the day. And winds that are strong could cause some power outages as well as isolated damage possible with that. Just to give you an idea of how strong that is, when we have a severe thunderstorm warning issued, that is a criteria of 58 miles per hour. So not far from that of seeing the same type of damage.
Saturday starts with freezing rain early and then just rain as temps continue to climb to around 50 late Saturday night. The temperature crashes on Sunday. Besides the wind, there's rain and possible snow showers on tap as well. For breaking weather alerts direct to your cell phone, text the word weather to 45364. St. Joseph County Metro Homicide continuing their investigation into the shooting of an off-duty Indiana State Police trooper.
Police say Trooper Matt Mikowski was shot in his Granger home Thursday night. It happened in the 10,000 block of Conover Drive just west of Ash Road. Mikowski suffered a single gunshot to his lower extremities and was listed in semi-stable condition.
Ooh, Masters Heat Cool does ductless mini splits. You may have to get them on board. Oh, they got tankless water heaters too, man. Masters, I might be coming for you. Ooh, geothermal too.
Faced the music after decades of rumors accusing him of sexual assault. Chicago prosecutors charge him with 10 counts of aggravated sexual abuse. The charges list 4 victims, with at least 3 being underage.
One of the allegations of sexual abuse notes the use of force or threat of force. Next week, grand jury convened.
I'll call them when it's time. I'm not calling them now. Relax, Mom.
I don't think it survives in Utah. We have too many smart people that want border security, so I can't imagine if it survives in Utah, but I will veto it, yes.
I mean, you could use some of the parts, yeah, and that could be something. Depending on the materials of the guns that they were destroying, sure. If it's not good enough to be blade steel, you know, it could be handle material or bolsters or something of that nature.
Now, your home comfort experts, heating specialist, first warning forecast.
Forecast is calm and sunny this afternoon with temperatures in the low 40s. Saturday, rain likely by the afternoon. Temperatures warm into the 40s, will spike near 50 Saturday night. Widespread rain, and it gets windy Sunday. Sunday, wind gusts topping 50 miles per hour. In the ABC 57 First Warning Neighborhood Weather Center, I'm Chief Meteorologist Tom Coombs.
News powered by Temper Grill. Make plans this week to experience the unmatched style of Temper Grill. Seating is limited. Call or visit tempergranger.com today.
When we say food with attitude,
Oh, really? Hey, man, anytime you contact Masters. So, no joke. When Masters came on, they just do the time sponsorship. And they told us that they had a huge jump in business, and they did not expect that to happen. You know, they don't even do any endorsements or anything. So, but if we get the house that we're in, I need to have some stuff taken care of that they do. So it seems like that would be a natural fit for them if they're willing to do it.
All right. Okay, what do you want there then?
explore our menu, buy gift cards, or make a simple dinner reservation at tempergranger.com. Unplug and relax with a truly unforgettable dining experience. Because life is too short, and the food is too good to break bread in a bad mood.
Oh, yo. Went to, wife called me yesterday and said, hey, just pick up some food on the way home. I don't have anything. Got to go grocery shopping tomorrow. It's like, all right. So I grabbed some sandwiches for us, and then I went and picked the kids up a pizza. That pretzel pizza at Little Caesars, that's good. That is good. So it's like nacho cheese sauce instead of spaghetti sauce with regular cheese on top and pepperonis, and then the crust is pretzel. Yeah, it's yummy, man. Even my daughter was like, whoa, this is really good. It was. So I recommend it. There's your taste test for Friday.
See them all around town. Cintas trucks and their service reps taking care of customers. When companies use Cintas, you know they're confident and ready. Cintas helps with their fire protection and first aid and safety programs, handles their apparel solutions, and helps keep their facility and restrooms clean and stocked. So you know those companies care about their employees.
Oh, that is funny. Has anybody seen the Trump-Pence campaign page's default 404 page? It says, oops, this is awkward, and it has a picture of Hillary Clinton on there. You're looking for something that doesn't exist. Oh my God. That is so funny. Oops, this is awkward. You're looking for something that doesn't exist. And then there's a picture of Hillary. Try going to our homepage. That's good stuff. That is really funny. All right, I'll put it on Discord. I'll go into live.
Without visiting the bathroom. Now it seems like you're constantly getting up to pee, and you're even getting up at night to go. This is not okay. Listen, the makers of Super Beta Prostate, the #1 prostate formula, are introducing a new
Ted's coming up.
Super Beta Prostate P3 Advanced with 3 key ingredients.
He's Hungarian, right? Always forget. It's Hungarian, I think.
To celebrate, we're sending free bottles to men who want to cut down on bathroom trips. Yes, your first 30-day supply is free. Pay shipping and handling. Call 1-800-255-3377. Early research suggests that an ingredient in P3 Advanced may help support a normal prostate.
Share it on Discord.
That is reduction in urges to pee, and you have a formula you'd be crazy not to try. Get P3 Advanced free. Call 1-800-255-3377. 1-800-255-3377.
God, that is funny.
1-800-255-3377.
Talk radio that talks with you, not at you. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. Casey Hendrickson.
And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I'm your host, Casey Hendrickson. Happy Friday, which of course means it's the final hour free-for-all. Open lines. Call about anything you want. The Guns and Everything Outdoor Spring Show is brought to you by Trap and Fool and Second Amendment Arms and Range. Saturday, March 2nd and Sunday, March 3rd at 9 a.m. both days at the Crown Event Center in New Carlisle. Go to secondamendmentarms.net for more information about that. All right. Once again, it is open lines. You can call about any topic that you wish to discuss, whether it's something that I've mentioned earlier in the week or not. Back to the phone lines we go. Ted, welcome to the program.
Hello, sir. I want to tell you a joke. That my friend Villarreal made it.
Okay, you're not going to get me fired, are you?
No.
Okay.
No. Here, the president went to China and asked the President Xi to show him the beautiful wall. And he said, look at this beautiful wall over here. Oh, he said, you know, Mr. President, how you made this beautiful wall 4,000 years ago? He said, Mr. Trump, is simple. We did not have a Democratic Party in China at that time. So, make it a nice party. Nice wall. That's all what I want to tell you.
Hey, you're Hungarian, correct?
No, my mother is Hungarian.
Okay. All right. So
my parents are from the Hungary part. They were born in Hungary. They were not born in Romania. But what they did, President Wilson, Woodrow Wilson, took half of Hungary and gave them to Romania.
Okay.
And they call us liberated. After them, Roosevelt came and gave the entire Eastern Europe to Stalin. And they call us liberated again. We are liberated so many times we forgot how many times we are liberated.
Well, I just had some people that were asking your nationality. I know that I'd asked you before. I just wasn't certain what it was. I thought it was Hungarian.
Yeah, that one you are correct.
Okay.
One you are correct.
All right. Just wanted to make sure. Okay. Ted, thank you for the joke. It was funny, man.
You're welcome.
All right. You take care.
I hope you don't get fired for it.
No, I think I'll be okay. I think I'll be good.
Yeah. You can mention it on the radio.
There you go. All right. I appreciate it, bud. Okay. You take care.
You too, sir.
All right. Now, the reason I brought that up is that I had a friend of mine contact me today, and he's like, I just sat down and had the most interesting conversation with somebody from Hungary. And said, I think you have a listener from Hungary on that calls you on a regular basis. And it was about the socialized healthcare system in Hungary. Now, for those of you who don't know, the vast majority of people who have socialized medicine are not big fans of it when it comes to major things. People who don't have any major issues tend to be fans of the socialized system. Okay. So I want to kind of read this to you. The mom needed cataract surgery. The doctor said 4 to 6 months to get cataract surgery. Okay. One of the hallmarks of a single payer system is the wait times. Or you can go to the doctor's private practice, which is separate, same doctor, but separate. Go to the private practice and pay a little bit more, but we can get you in 2 days. So in Hungary, this person's mom needed cataract surgery. If you went through the government system, it was going to be 4 to 6 months. If you went to the doctor's private practice, it was 2 days. Okay, but you pay a little bit more for that. And with cataracts, you can't mess around with that stuff. So that's what they did. They went to the doctor's office. The doctor drove the lady to the doctor's appointment and then drove her home after the surgery. So it's like pretty good concierge service. I mean, it's almost like DPC care. All right. But again, that's the private practice, not the government practice, but it's the same doctor. So the mom later broke her leg, had to bribe nurses so that they would give her attention in the hospital. Then she had to pay an extra fee on the side to the doctor just to be seen in a timely manner, which is a similar story to what they with rehab, they said. And so he actually said that they needed to call the show, but that person says they don't listen to talk radio because they're always going to get angry with it. But very interesting stuff, where you got cataracts and it's like, well, 4 to 6 months and we'll take care of it. Unless you want me to take care of it in 2 days at my private practice. Okay, I'll pick you up at your house. I'll do the surgery and then I'll drop you back off at home again. That's exactly what happened. Mom later breaks her leg and she has to bribe nurses to even have the nurses pay attention to her. And then she had to bribe the doctor, a different doctor, to go ahead and actually take care of her leg. Then she had to bribe people to take care of her in rehab. It's crazy. It's just nuts. But a long line of stories similar to that. Tim, welcome to the program. Good afternoon.
Yeah, how you doing?
Doing well. What's up?
Hey, I was just flipping over on NPR real quick, and I've got a complaint.
Okay.
Venezuela, they're complaining about a crisis there. I think I'm being sarcastic now. I don't think there's a humanitarian crisis there.
Well,
I think it's manufactured, just like what they're doing at their southern border. It's all manufactured.
Well, yeah, sure. I mean, it's. Did you see that Maduro ordered Venezuelans shot today at the Brazilian border?
Yeah, he shut it down.
Yeah,
I think it's manufactured. I think the media is just fabricating all that.
Yeah, it's all nonsense. Totally, 100%. Yeah, that's funny. Yeah. Well, at least they'll acknowledge it's a crisis in another country.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we'll look at Britain a couple of years ago when they're flooding through from France, they shut it down, and now they're all the Syrians are parked in Calais a couple of years ago. Where was the crisis there?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Well, pick and choose your crisis, I guess, right?
Yep.
There you go. Weekend. All right, man. You too. Appreciate it. Yep. Yeah, it's so the Brazilian border was shut down by Maduro in Venezuela a couple of days ago to prevent aid from getting into the country. And then some people in Venezuela tried to get to the aid today and they were shot. So there's pictures and everything. It's horrible. 574-25-95-953. That's 2595-953. You can also send me a text at 45364. Please put MNC at the beginning of that message. More coming up on 95.3 MNC.
Wondering about the weekend? It's always in sight with the 5-day
forecast at 16 and 46 mornings and afternoons. Casey Hendrickson.
Cadillac. Speed. Making Cadillac jokes about cataracts. That was a good Friday joke, man. He was in and out with that joke, too. He was in and out. I was like, later, I'm out of here. I actually kept him on the phone longer.
Sunday starts around 32 as clouds increase and temperatures rise into the 40s by the afternoon. Rain is likely Saturday afternoon through Saturday night. The rain can be heavy at times, and temperatures spike to near 50 to midnight.
Almost there, dude. You're so close. Casey, I see that Mayor Pete is starting to show his radical socialist side now that he is a presidential candidate. Well, here's the thing. He's always shown it. So I saw a friend of mine the other day post that, Mayor Pete's really not a partisan and everything else. And I like spit what was in my mouth out. So I'm like, wow, you're not paying attention to this. Mayor Pete is one of the biggest political radicals that I have seen. That's why I thought it was so ironic he was calling Pence a radical. He just says the same stuff that you get from Ocasio-Cortez. He just says it in a nicer way. And, it's when he did his DNC campaign, he was saying it's time for a new direction. We have to do things differently. And then he repeated all of the same far right or far left liberal policies that they've been advocating for many, many years for the far left wing of the party. So Remember, he was a big Bernie fan. He didn't back Bernie this last time. He backed Hillary. But, that's where his school of thought comes from.
Michiana's News Channel. Would you like to talk to Casey?
You can continue to choose catch-up remedies or pain medications.
All right. I'll try to get you on there. Should be about 3.5 minutes.
Yeah, for a second he wasn't from Hungary, then he was. Exactly.
Only makes our root problems worse. If you're tired of having the same back and neck problems popping up over and over again,
Take care, Tracy.
Can I get your name, please?
at our new state-of-the-art facility,
All right, Barb. I'll try to get you on there.
including massage therapy, physical therapy, exercise programs, and the best in chiropractic
Barb.
corrective care to get you out of pain and back in the game of life. Call us at Warren Chiropractic, 679-0100.
Indiana's health rankings keep falling. Smoking is hurting our workforce and our economy, making it harder to find the workers that Indiana needs to stay competitive with other states.
When it comes to Indiana's health and smoking rates, we rank among the worst in the nation, with Kentucky, Alabama, and Mississippi.
It's embarrassing, and an unhealthy workforce is an expensive workforce.
This issue affects all Hoosiers, from our smallest children to our biggest businesses.
That's why health and business leaders agree that we should raise the cigarette tax.
A $2 cigarette tax for over 70,000 Hoosiers to quit smoking and generates this work.
How is it I generate revenue?
It's time for a $2
One-time shot.
increase. It's time to raise it for health.
Learn more at raiseitforhealthim.com. Sponsored by Raise It for Health.
You know what is a renewable revenue source?
RV enthusiasts. The 8th annual Michiana Camping and RV Show will be held at the Michiana Event Center February 26th.
Save lives and make money.
Shop hundreds of RVs from the best RV
It's just like,
manufacturers.
it'll generate all this money.
Yeah, they always say
And
that,
spur them to quit.
Well, every time
How?
they tax cigarettes and stuff, and they say, oh, we'll raise all this money for healthcare and Medicaid and all of that stuff. I'm like, but your goal is to get people to not smoke, which means you won't have that money. So either it doesn't get people to quit smoking and you just want the revenue and you're lying to everybody, or you're only going to get a one-time shot of revenue and then everybody's going to quit and you're not going to get anything. So which one is it? It's kind of like when they raise your gas tax and then people drive less and then they get mad at you because they're not making as much money. Well, yeah, you made it unaffordable. So then they started doing mileage taxes instead. Yup.
If you own a house and want to sell it fast and for a fair price,
What the hell?
621
Whatever that was inside that was like black filling inside of whatever the hell he just split apart on that TV.
I am not a realtor or associated with any real
I think it's just a cigarette tax. I don't think it has to do with, I mean, I could be wrong. I don't think it has to do with chewing tobacco.
621-3277. I buy inherited houses, divorce houses, behind them payment houses. I even buy...
Yeah, Casey, Trump's manufacturer crisis is so fake that Nat Geo started a series called Border Wars. You're right. And it's funny, I mentioned Border Wars quite a bit because people need to watch it. One, because it gives you the border stuff and it gives you the port situation. And it's been around for years, so you have an opportunity to really see what they deal with on a regular basis. And good afternoon. Thank you for tuning in. News Talk 95.3, Michiana's news channel. I am your host, Casey Hendrickson. It is open lines, 574-2595. 95.3. Do want to thank R&B Car Company, locations in South Bend and Warsaw. R&B Car Company are your used car experts. Also got to tell you about Z-Bar to South Bend. So here's the deal. If you have a dirty car like we all do when we get to the weather here and we come into spring and our car has got... like my car is vile right now. But my car was damaged and is now repaired. Has been sitting for a year. My car's vile. But all of us have a dirty interior right now. We got the salt, we got the sludge, we got all of the ice melt that's not salt. We've got all the mud and everything else that kind of goes with it. And you look down at your floor and it's gross, right? You got leaves and twigs and everything else. And you're like, you know what? I just need this cleaned out. Go to Z-Bar to South Bend. And what they will do is they can get an interior detail on there
I've had this done to several cars. It is one of the services my wife requires I get at least twice a year for her vehicle. It is amazing. Now, we get it with the Germ Defender, which helps prevent germs and bacteria from also getting us sick in the vehicle as well. And we haven't had that done on the new car as of yet, hence the sick. We weren't sick in the old car, you notice. The moment the frame on the old car broke and we were in other cars, that's when we got sick. That's when it hit us. So it works. But if you go to Z-Bar to South Bend, of course, let them know that I sent you. They have these amazing other services, too. I know a lot of you are getting ready to pull that beautiful sports car or muscle car out of the garage. Go talk to them about ceramic Z-Gloss paint coating. That will protect your paint better than any other coating on the planet, period, end of story. Z-Bar to South Bend. Let them know that Casey Hendrickson sent you. All right, back to the phone lines we go. Barb, welcome to the program.
Hi there.
Hi.
My thought is, where in the world is the UN with all this stuff that's going on in Central and South America? I mean, they seem to be right there to spend billions of dollars trying to promote global warming, which may happen someday, and you got these people dying today, and they're sitting on their hands.
Well, so the United Nations is too busy saying that Israel is evil and writing contradictory global warming reports, because their latest report is that, oh, yeah, by the way, we overestimated a bunch of stuff. We were totally wrong. Yeah, we know. But that's where they're at.
I mean, all the millions of dollars that the U.S. alone puts into that organization, and they might as well set a bonfire in the backyard and burn it.
Well, sure. I mean, and we've scaled back how much we fund it, and we've defunded certain committees in the UN, thank God. But, the UN, when they did take a position on the border, not in Venezuela, but when they took a position on the border, they're like, oh, the United States is being inhumane and all this other stuff, which is, of course, stupid and ridiculous. But, in Venezuela, I mean, this situation is getting bad. And the United States, absolutely. Like I said, he ordered his people to fire on Venezuelans at the Brazilian border today or yesterday. But the president gives a speech. And that's why I keep telling people, pay very close attention. I've been telling you for a couple of years now, pay close attention to this, because everything that's happening in Venezuela affects everything in that area, which also ripples up to our southern border. But yes, oil's a factor, but there's also a humanitarian crisis in our backyard that has to be dealt with. And when you have 50 nations saying, no, we're not going to recognize Maduro, he's not the legitimate president. And he's not the legitimate president, by the way. So you have, a dictator who is starving his people to death, a dictator who is now shooting his people to death, who is protected by Cuban private military, which are basically just Cuban soldiers which are on contract. And they're not letting any supplies in to help anybody. You can't let that go. And so that's
what the UN's for. I mean, they're
supposed to do that, right?
In there with tanks or whatever, and bring the food.
Exactly. And, the president gave his salvo. He said, look, you have an amnesty offer here. Walk away. Stop supporting Maduro. Nobody's going to come after you or your family. But if you keep supporting him and propping him up, you're going to lose everything. And that was a veiled, we're going to kill you. So, it'll be interesting to see what happens. There have been a couple of generals that have spoken out against Maduro, and they've gone into hiding. So there could be an organized resistance that is happening in Venezuela now. It could be a matter of days or weeks.
Yeah, and it's a shame. It really
is a shame. A lot of people are going to get hurt for something that, you got a madman who's trying to hold on to power. And all you have to do is let the aid get in. And by the way, letting the aid get in would allow him to stay in power longer.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Barb, I appreciate it.
Yeah, and I do. I love listening to your show whenever I can catch it.
Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Have a wonderful weekend. All right, take care. Somebody asked me, where's the fake news flash? All right, so no, this is totally on me. Okay, we're trying to get the system set up to where I can talk to work from home. That would make it possible for me to do it. We've been having issues with the system here in being able to record. My templates keep getting deleted. So once that's fixed, the fake news flashes are rolling. I do plan on having a full week next week. I promise it hasn't gone anywhere. We will do it. And then people who subscribe to the premium podcast, when that launches here in the next month or so, will also get free access to the fake news flash anytime they want. Have a great weekend, folks. Be safe. We'll see you Monday.
More and more, we depend on today's
Boy. All right. Here we go.
Instead of letting doctors decide the best individualized therapies for their patients, insurance companies
I lose 20% of my listeners every time I play that stupid $2 tobacco tax commercial. I'm sure you have the data to back that up. 20%.
It's really funny
because we do have the data.
No, because like we play the tobacco tax, and you know they kind of back each other up, but it's just like they make no sense because they really don't. Because we play the tobacco, we play the tobacco tax, and then we play Juul.
Right. Yeah, competing things, and then I come on here and tell you how utterly stupid the tobacco tax is. So, yeah. Let them waste their money. They have a number. You lose 20% of your listeners every time that commercial plays.
Sure.
Okay. I guarantee you if we lost 20% of our listeners every time that commercial plays, we would change the commercial. Because we actually can see, minute by minute, how many people are listening to the station. All right. Well, I hope you all have a wonderful weekend. And I will give you updates on the house when I come into the show on Monday, because the inspection's Monday morning. So I know some of you are interested in that. And then we'll let you know if it passed inspection or not, and if we're going forward. But right now, my interest rate is like stupid low. So, in fact, my mortgage broker says she hasn't seen an interest rate that low for an FHA mortgage in a long time. So far, things are moving in the right direction. So, hopefully, that doesn't screw up. But you all have a wonderful night. I do appreciate you listening and watching. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel if you have not. Spread it to all of those other people out there you think will enjoy it. And, of course, don't forget to get the podcast, The Daily Show Prep, at theburningtruth.us, and buy knives and holsters from me at asdefense.com, or reach out to me individually, whether it's on Discord or Facebook, and I'd be happy to go ahead and do that and set you up. All right. You take care. I appreciate all of you.